This is Sports Sound Rugby.
Listen live, on digital, online or on BBC Sounds.
Can Ireland get their Six Nations campaign back on track after last week's mauling by the imperious French in Paris?
Kicked through by France and then volleyed out towards Biel Barré. Only one outcome here. Bonus point try. It was a nothing ball over the top. It didn't go to hand. It was kicked on the full volley and he just swallowed it up, gobbled it up and cantered in for the try. Louis Biel Barré once again.
Andy Farrell has reacted to that heavy defeat by making 6 changes to his Ireland side for today's game against Italy in Dublin.
Obviously it excites us. The team that we've picked is the right one for this weekend for a number of reasons. Last week's performance, trying to get people a chance to show what they've got, and the format of the Six Nations has changed. It all gets thrown into the pot, but at the forefront of that is a team that's picked to play against a very good Italian team.
It's up to Farrell's new look side to restore confidence in a doubting nation. Kick-off at the Aviva Stadium coming up shortly. Well, good afternoon, and if you're tuning in for Sports Sound, it's live on Radio Foyle and BBC Sounds today while we concentrate on the rugby here on Radio Ulster. Then we'll rejoin the football for the closing stages of today's Irish Premiership games in and around 4:30 or so. But here and now it's all about round 2 of the Six Nations Championship, and having beaten Scotland in a monsoon in Rome last weekend, a resurgent Italian side arrive in Dublin with their tails up. And as for Ireland, well, we'll find out shortly if last week was a blip or a sign of things to come. Joining me in studio to see if Ireland can prove they're not as bad as they looked last week after all is former European Cup winner with the Exeter Chiefs Gareth Steenson and former Ireland international Claire Small. Guys, so much to talk about, so little time. Is this the right team, Claire, that Ireland need to stabilise things again after a really poor first half against France?
I think this is an exciting team that Farrell has named. Obviously, they weren't happy with the performance last week. Farrell had talked after the game about the lack of intent, the lack of drive. And I think he's wanting a response from this team. And I suppose with some of the new guys we've seen coming in, the likes of Rob Baloucoune, we're seeing James Lowe coming back in after being dropped last week. Like, these guys are being given opportunities to put their hand up and say, look, we want to be here. And I think that's exactly what Ireland need. Obviously, there's a number of big names dropped after last week, with Josh van der Fleer totally out of the squad. The 2 wingers, Stockdale and Tommy O'Brien, dropped as well. So there's opportunities for new guys coming in, and I think that's what we'll see a big response from some of these guys.
Gareth, you could argue that possibly there's one or two others fortunate maybe who weren't dropped, but if we even just look at some of the changes quickly, as Achukwu and Conan coming into that back row, I mean, explosive. Timony unlucky not to start, but we have a Dogbo now on the bench as well. Exciting, that back row.
Oh, it is an exciting back row, and especially for Cormac getting himself in there. I think, the way he plays the game, we want to see him getting touches of the ball, especially in the outside channels. Big fella like that, athletic, run down a touchline, can do a lot of damage. Jack Conan, like when you look at there, as a guy played number 8 for the Lions, not a bad fella to come in. So there's a lot of guys in there, just like Claire said, like it's a strong squad. It probably just needs a little bit of confidence in getting back into the game. This is a strong Italian team. You look across the board of what they've got, the amount of caps they have in their forward pack alone, and they're basing on a lot on what a really strong under-20 squad they had about 3-4 seasons ago. So they're coming to play. The last time they were in Dublin, they took a hammering, so they're going to be wanting to come out, and they're probably feeling quite good about themselves.
No passengers, Caelan Doris said, Claire. He's said to the new guys, you have to go out there, you have to back yourselves. For someone like Robert Baloucoune, so exciting to see him get a long overdue Six Nations start after all his injury problems.
Yeah, it's an exciting day for Rob Baloucoune, definitely. He's someone who has pure pace, he's got power, he's got a bit of X factor, and that's something that we haven't seen in a lot of these Irish wingers. Like James Lowe, yes, maybe a couple of seasons ago he would have had that, but I think he's a bit off form at the minute. So for Rob Baloucoune coming in, he's going to want to take this opportunity with 2 hands. And I suppose last week we saw against France they struggled with the contestable kicks, so they're going to want Baloucoune getting up, getting under, getting those balls back so that Ireland retain possession and they can play. It was so frustrating watching them attempt to play last week, but just giving France the ball back every time. So yeah, it's going to be a big day for Balogun. Hopefully he'll go out there, he'll perform, and we'll get to see a good performance from this whole squad.
And Sam Prendergast, Gareth, your old position, number 10, he's starting again. Are you surprised that he's starting again, or is this a vote of confidence in him by Farrell?
I don't think I'm surprised that he's getting another go. It's quite hard, actually, if you play one game and 2 games, and it's like anything. He would have had a big build-up in the week previous going in against France, and things didn't really go his way. Obviously, it didn't go the way of the team, but it's very difficult to take a 10 out of that position, and you want to try to back him, and I feel that's what Andy's trying to do. It does feel like it's a big game for him personally. I think he's got to go out, he's got to grab hold of this team. Again, we haven't seen how he's led the team during the week, so that's going to be interesting as well. That's all part of it. But I do think, it's interesting there that Craig Casey's in with him. It kind of shows that they'll be looking to play quite a up-tempo game, the way Craig likes to play the game. So I do expect, it doesn't look like it's the weather looks okay there, so it might just add to what the way they want to play, and hopefully it'll add to what Sam needs as well.
And we saw terrible rain last week, Claire, in Rome. The Italians impressive enough though against Scotland. Look, we keep saying Italy, they're not a soft touch anymore, but never, it seems, has this been more accurate than today.
Yeah, and I think they have a lot of momentum coming into this game. They've won the last 4 out of the last 5 matches they've played, including beating Australia back in the autumn. So they're not an easy team to play against. They've got a lot of impressive players in there. They've got Garbisi, who managed the game really well last week. They've got exciting wingers in Louis Lina and Monte Ione. And then their pack just has so much power and so much experience as well. So they're definitely going to be a tough team to play against. But in saying that, Ireland have never lost to Italy at home in the Six Nations. So I hope that is going to be the same today.
Well, there's always a first time for everything, I suppose, but we'll see if that's going to be today or not. Just quick predictions from you guys, Gareth?
I think Ireland will win this. I think it'll be tighter than you think, but I'd like to think that they'll win by at least 7 or 8 points.
Claire?
Yeah, I think we're going to see an Ireland win, especially with the firepower Ireland have on the bench. I think they're going to come through in the end. All
right, well, we shall see. Time now to cross over to the Aviva Stadium to join our commentary team of former Ireland international Mike McCarthy and Jim Neely.
Thank you very much indeed, Orla. Nice to hear Gareth and nice to hear the good doctor beside him, and it's wonderful to have Michael McCarthy here. This is a day of firsts. The first time the new Irish President Catherine Connolly has been introduced to the teams, in this case by the former distinguished Irish international Lions back row forward John O'Driscoll, who's president of the IRFU. And it's a first for today's referee. It is the first time a Six Nations game has been refereed by a woman, and Holly Davidson from Scotland has that singular honour as her career takes on an upward trajectory. She's assisted by Matthew Carley from England and Luc Ramos from France. The TMO is also from England, Ian Tempest, and the FPRO, which is the Foul Play Referral Officer, is Tuai Tranini from France. It's dull, it's overcast, it's rain-free at the moment, and the place is absolutely packed. And this, Michael, I would suggest, is a must-win game for Andy Farrell.
Absolutely no doubt about it. Some serious soul searching, I imagine, in camp there at Carlton House during the week. I've been there myself. It's not pleasant after a disappointing performance like that last week, especially in that first half where we just lacked, and Andy Farrell's spoken about it all week, lacked intent, lacked physicality, lacked energy. Lots of positives also to take from the game, which I'm sure we'll speak about later on, but this is a must-win game. Some exciting changes, some real X-factor, some real pace and power, some real athletes brought into the match day squad, so really excited, looking forward to it. The rain's holding off, and it's not due to come back till later.
Holly Davidson in the middle in her orange outfit, just waiting, and it's going to be the Italian outside half, Paolo Garbisi. Plays his club rugby with Toulon in France, a 25-year-old who was instrumental in the victory in the Sudden Olympic Stadium in Rome last week. Italy playing from left to right towards the Lansdowne Road end, and Garbisi pops it very cleverly, taken just outside the 22 by Ireland's fullback Jamie Osborne, who goes to ground. Casey gets it away to big Joe McCarthy, who bludgeons his way forward, makes 5 or 6 precious metres. Ireland 7 or 8 metres now outside the 22, and 15 from the far touchline, the Ireland right. Ireland playing towards the Havelock square end. Casey kicks left-footed, skewed it rather badly, but it's been well taken in by Ireland, and Ireland have made a little bit of progress. Now they're trying to move the ball. That's nicely done. Ringrose takes it forward, goes to ground, sets it up midway between the 10-metre line and the 22 of Ireland, just to the far side of the post. Now they get it away again. And again, Ireland make a little bit of ground, but not very much. Good Italian defending, and that was one of the key words that they put in last week. Casey this time kicks. That's a little bit better by Casey. Balakoon chases, but he lets the Italian jump and take the ball in, and Italy have won the ball, but they're back inside their own half by about 7 or 8 metres. Ball coming back to scrum half. Fusco, who kicks right-footed down that far touchline, the Ireland right, gathered in by Prendergast, covering backward nicely, gets it away to Osborne. Osborne runs across the mid of the field. Probably might have given that, but he set it up nicely. Casey does give it, and they've got it away. This is better by Ireland. Little flat pass and wonderful tackling though by the Italians. Prendergast gets himself ambushed just outside the 22. Pick up and drive by big James Ryan back in the starting lineup alongside Joe McCarthy. Back to Casey. Decides not to kick. Ringrose gets absolutely clattered for his pains. Quite legally though. Casey whips it back infield, and it's Izachukwu makes a little bit of ground for Ireland. In comes Dan Sheehan to help. Ball coming back on the Ireland side, but the Italian smother defence has been pretty good. Casey kicks left-footed. He's wheeshed that infield just a little bit. James Lowe jumps and catches it. Wonderful play by James Lowe. Restored to the Irish starting lineup. Ryan gets it away. Now Osborne. Prendergast moves it wide to Balakoon. Balakoon gets away from the first tackle, on the second, on the third. Balakoon up to the halfway line. One more tackle just held on to. Now it's Casey. Now it's Prendergast. Now it's Sheenan. Up to the halfway line. Ireland just still inside their own half by about half a metre. Italy hoping to turn the ball over, and they have turned the ball over, and that's a good bit of play by Italy. Moved away wide by Garbusi. Here come the Italians. Little wide pass to Lewis. Liner ball was into touch, and we're going to have the first set piece of the afternoon. Wonderful smothering tactics there by Italy, Michael.
Where do we start? Ball in play for 2 minutes 30. Hopefully a sign of things to come. Some big collisions out there, and a really good start for Ireland. They win the kick-off. Joe McCarthy, he only had 2 carries last week against France. He's had 2 in the first minute. 2 big carries. He's carried the ball. He's carried a number of defenders with him. So some good signs of intent early on.
Ireland's liner just inside the Italian half. Good throw by Sheehan, taken into the back nicely. Ireland driving forward, hoping to get a penalty from Holly Davis, and Sheehan breaks away, gets across the Italian 10-metre line, 20 metres in from the near touchline. Casey very nearly intercepted. That was a very dangerous tactic there by Craig Casey. If that had been intercepted, well, it was liner and he was gone.
He certainly was. Yes, a good read from the Italian defence. Just doesn't quite get his hands to it. But yeah, Casey's got to be careful that we normally see Jameson Gibson Park throwing those big missed passes out to someone holding the touchline, and Italy clearly have done their analysis and know that's a big thing for this Irish team, going down those short sides, doing a 2 or 3 skip pass to the man on the touchline, and almost an interception there. But we speak about physicality and intent. It's not just Ireland starting physically. Italy as well. A massive hit from Ferrari a little bit earlier. Absolutely clattered, as you said, Gary Ringrose.
First scrum, 6 metres in from the near touchline on the Italian 10-metre line. Left-hand side of the field. Ireland playing towards the Havelock square end. Didn't do too badly against them much. Going to the French side last weekend, I thought they were going to get minced in Paris, but they didn't. Incidentally, the intercept was almost made by Alessandro Fusco, and not the Italian right wing Louis Lina, son of the great Michael. I remember the rascal here in the bad old days in 1981 when Ireland, thanks to Gordon Hamilton, thought they had the World Cup quarter-final in the bag, and then Lina, right at the very death, scored a try in the corner and broke everybody's heart, mine included, I have to say. Somebody said to me, you didn't get as excited about the Lina try when you were commentating as you did about Gordon Hamilton's, and I said, surprise, surprise. So here we go. We have played, 5 minutes. Ireland 0, Italy 0. Scrum goes down again. Jeremy Loughman on the Ireland loose head side nearest to us, and the referee gives a penalty against the Italian front row for deliberately collapsing. No free kick. It's a penalty, and a chance for Sam Prendergast to put Ireland into the corner, and a chance for this Irish line out with Cormac Izachukwu playing at number 6 to do something. but it's all about the kick. They've got the penalty from a solid scrum and a gentle little tap with the right foot. Pops the ball into touch, not quite 5 metres, but just about midway between the 22 and the Italian goal line, near side of the field. The Irish left. Loughman comes over, has a word with his hooker, Dan Sheehan, the Ireland and Leinster Ireland and Lions hooker. Loughman goes back to stand at the front. Isachukwu moves up, takes it wonderfully at the front. Casey gets it away. Driving forward, wearing number 7 and not number 6, Keelan Doris, the Irish skipper. Taken on by Isachukwu once again. The big fella's been involved quite a lot now. Casey looks to his right, moves the ball to his right, driving forward once again. And that was James Ryan, makes a decent bit of ground. Here they come again, ball back on the Irish side to move it to the far side of the field. Ireland still moving forward. Thomas Clarkson is in there, knocks Ireland again. This is better stuff by Ireland. Ringrose moves it wide. James Lowe gathers low. Can he have a go? He can't have a go. He's moving forward. He's held up 5 metres away. Casey gets in, gets the ball back on the Irish side. That's nicely done by Ireland. Little flat pass. Jeremy Loughman looking for his first international try. Casey changes direction. Sheehan holds off one Italian, then two, goes to ground, sets it up nicely. Where is it? Back from Casey. Prendergast tries to chip through, shouldn't have done that perhaps. James Lowe gathers, and the referee has given a penalty against Italy for getting themselves offside, and Ireland have the chance. I don't think they'll go for the post. Do you, Michael?
Yeah, well, with the confidence they're playing when they're winning, there's no doubt they go to the corner, but we'll see what they do here. But lovely build-up play from Ireland, keeping the ball well. I keep saying that word, intent, but carrying hard, getting over the gain line, winning collisions, getting little soft shoulders. The breakdown work really good. Ball's on a plate for the scrum half at the moment for Craig Casey. He's getting good quick ball, and Ireland looking really threatening. It started from the scrum, a penalty at scrum, exactly the type of picture you want to paint to the referee early on in the game. Unchanged front row, Jeremy Loughman, Dan Sheehan and Tom Clarkson. One of the positives from last week was the set piece and the scrum. Our line-out was good. Our more defence against France was good.
Ireland going to take the tap. The Italian player has been restored to rude good health. 5 metres from the Italian line. Now the tap and go by Sheehan. He's held up and thrust backward, and the referee has given a penalty against Ireland, and that's great defending by Italy. They'll be really chuffed about that. A bit of nonsense breaks out involving McCarthy. It doesn't do any harm. Gary Ringrose is putting his tuppence worth in, and the referee was given a penalty against Ireland. I'm not quite sure what Ireland were trying to do there. Are you, Michael?
I mean, what a hit from Italy. Dan Sheehan taps and goes. Dan Sheehan, we know how big and how powerful he is. It looks like Dan Sheehan's actually tried to jump into the tackle, which
is an offence.
Which is an offence, yeah, to try and get over the try line. I think he did it recently, maybe in one of the autumn internationals, but Italy are ready. They're waiting. They're in the 3-point start. And Dan Sheehan gets absolutely smashed backwards.
And the ball has been cleared to touch. We have played 7.5, coming up to 8 minutes here. Ireland 0, Italy 0. A vital game for both sides. Ireland coming off a bit of a tanking in Paris, and Italy, almost like an Olympic swimming event in Rome, came through against a poor Scotland side. Line out to Italy, just inside their own half, near side of the field there, right, playing towards the Lansdowne road end. Hooker Giacomo Nicotera throws, finds his man at the back, well away, moved wide by Italy. Good work in the middle of the field, good defending there by Stuart McCluskey back on the Italian side. Garbisi kicks left-footed for the far side, the Irish right. Underneath it is Jamie Osborne. Wonderful take by Jamie Osborne, much to the delight of the crowd, saying well done Jamie, quite right too. Casey goes in to try to get the ball back. Loughman waiting as first receiver. Slow ball coming back now. Loughman takes it. He moves it away. Prendergast moves it. McCluskey. Lovely pass by McCluskey. Well gathered in now. Here come Ireland. Jack Conan runs up and across the 10-metre line. Ireland still inside their own half. Ball back to Casey. Sets it up nicely. Puffs it up to Dan Sheehan. Runs into his opposite number. Goes to ground just outside the 10-metre line. Casey gets it away. Prendergast. Nicely done. McCluskey. Lovely pass. Osborne gets it away now to Balakoon. No room for the big fella to stretch his legs. He goes to ground. Ireland release the ball quickly. That's nicely done. Little chip kick through for Ireland. Now where's that going to bounce? It's going to bounce for Italy, and Lorenzo Pani, the full back, takes it on, gets a little bit of support from his back row forwards. Italy just outside their 10-metre line and 15 metres from the far touchline. The Irish left, the old east stand side. Back on the Italian side, crossfield kick for Lina, and he jumps and he's knocked it forward, and he's gathered again So that wasn't a knock on. Here come Italy once again. Good tackling by Ireland. Little chip and chase by Menoncello, and the ball is kicked dead, and that's going to be a goal line dropout. Or is it going to be a touch? Not quite sure, Michael.
Yeah, certainly it's an exciting game. Ireland doing really well keeping hold of the ball. I thought it was a poor decision by Prendergast to kick just on the halfway line. Tried to do a little dink chip through. Where Ireland have been so good in the years gone by is keeping hold of the ball, retaining the ball, getting into the high phase count. And I think we just gave it the ball a little bit too easily there. But lovely crossfield kick to Liner, catches it on the touchline. We know the damage he can do. He had a dream start with his try last week against Scotland.
Prendergast was a 22 dropout, kicks to the far side of the field, the Irish right. Good tackling there by Izuchukwu, following up quickly. Ball coming back on the Italian side. Fusco gets it away. Good work by open side flanker Manuel Zuliani with a white skull cap on, and Ireland has stolen it to get across the halfway line. That's good work. Holly Davison has the hand out for a penalty to the Irish. In the meantime, Doris moves it wide, and Lina and Casey for the second time. He's being far too ambitious there, and that might come back and bite him in the derriere.
It is a bit risky, but you can see the space there. One thing in this first 10 minutes, Italy are getting very narrow in defence. The longer Ireland keep the ball, the tighter the Italian defence is getting. There is space on the edges.
Well, we're not in electronic communication with Holly Davison. She's over having a little word with somebody. Matthew Carley, as touch judge, has come in from the far side. And they're going to have a look at something. What it is, I'm not exactly sure. The TMO is Ian Tempest.
Yes. Clear line break.
Was it a deliberate knock forward, perhaps?
We're coming back to you after this one, Holly.
I think it is a deliberate knock forward by Louis Lina. Tried to knock it forward and catch it on the bounce as he did the last time, but and he's going to go to the bin, and that's rather unfortunate for Italy after 11 minutes of this first half here at Lansdowne Road. Louis Lina has got himself yellow carded. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think right decision. As I said, Italy were getting very narrow in defence, and that pass from Casey goes over the top to him to James Lowe. I think James Lowe's got a good chance of scoring in the corner. Yes, there's a bit of cover defence there, but it's pretty cynical. That's a big loss for Italy, obviously. Lina had the dream start last week, 7 minutes in, scoring that try against Scotland. He also retrieved a box kick which led to their second try on 13 minutes against Scotland. So that's a huge loss for Italy so early on in this game.
Now, can Ireland capitalise? They've got the line out just about midway between the Italian 22 and 10 metre line. Dan Sheehan holds the ball aloft. That's well taken at the back by Ireland. Good driving forward by the men in green. Made 2 or 3 metres. Casey, bit slow in getting the ball away. Now he gets it away. McCluskey pops it up. Good driving forward by Ireland. Found a couple of his back row forwards. Casey to bring the ball to the near side. Ireland have loaded the near side. McCarthy, very poor pass by Ireland. And they're giving the ball away, and that was quite unnecessary. Fusco gets away. Garbisi moves it wide. There's a half chance of an Italian overlap, but there's plenty of space out there. McCluskey has to track back, and Balakoon puts in a great tackle on the ball. Ireland have come away with the ball, and they just take a wee step into touch. Touch judge on the far side, Matthew Carley, puts the flag up, and that's going to be a line out. Holly Davison, I think, has spotted maybe a knock forward. Has she? I think she has.
Yeah, I'd say more concerning signs for Italy. Yes, they're a man down. They're down to 14 with the yellow card, but that defence just seems so narrow. The spacings between the Italian and the blue shirts, they're pretty much shoulder to shoulder at times, and there is so much space out on the touchline. But some poor skill execution from Ireland. The ball's lost, and Italy on the counter, they get the ball wide to the touchline. But it was a great hit on Ioane. I think it was Balakoon smashed him, almost smashed him into touch.
Yeah, Monty Ioane now, 31 years of age, Australian, plays his rugby with Leon, one of the most capped Italian players on the park today, if not the most, with 43 appearances. It's an Irish line out. It's just outside the Irish 10 metre line, and 5 metres in from the far touch line. The scrum had gone down, and then they decided to come back up again. Maybe Holly Davidson not altogether happy with the initial scrummage here. Isn't it great to see Holly Davidson doing a game like this? She really has been an outstanding referee for a number of years.
Yeah, 100%. It's brilliant. It's great to see, and she's worked incredibly hard, and yeah, her communication with the players is fantastic. It's clear, it's concise,
and she commands so much respect too.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Holly says, come on chaps, we can do this again. Craig Casey, ball in hand, taking over from Jemison Gibson Park, who you would never expected to be on the bench for Ireland. Ireland get the ball away from the scrum, and again the first line passing is poor. Here comes Prendergast again. Now he's giving it to Balakoon. Balakoon puts the foot on the gas, gets it away to James Lowe. Jones straight and gets across the 22. Well taken down by the cover defence. Here comes Gary Ringrose, couldn't quite get it outside him. Ringrose still moving forward, 5 metres now from the Italian line. Osborne has to go into play scrum half. Balakoon goes in as well, right round from the right wing. Ireland still moving forward. It's a little bit scrappy down there, but Italians, there's plenty of them in there to try to defend, and they set up a blue wall, and they turned the ball over once again, and Ireland will be a bit concerned about losing so much ball in contact. And Fusco goes in and tries to set it up, and he does set it up, and he pops it up, and it's taken on by his skipper Michele Lamaro, who goes to ground. Ball coming back slowly on the Italian side, but they'll be more than happy, and it's Fusco to kick. Takes his time, and he does kick, and he gets it away, and that's going to be an Irish line-out. That really, Michael, should have been an Irish score.
Yeah, lovely play by Ireland in the build-up. Balakoon showing a clean pair of heels. Lovely little break, shows his pace. He is a specimen. Was he 6'5"? Looks like an absolute athlete. He's flowing there. Passes to James Lowe, and James Lowe, he does really well to stay in and not go into touch there. And a lovely little offload to Gary Ringrose off the floor. He can't quite get it away to Prendergast and gets tackled. Prendergast is the first arrival at the breakdown. Ringrose is a little bit isolated, and Prendergast just can't do enough as that first arrival at the breakdown. He gets counter-rucked, and a big opportunity goes missing for Ireland there, only 5 to 10 metres out from the Italian try line.
You're listening to Guinness Six Nations Rugby here on BBC Radio Ulster. We've played just over 15 minutes at dear old Lansdowne Road. It's Ireland 0 and Italy 0. Initial pressure coming from Italy. Ireland survived, and now the pressure is coming from Ireland, and thus far Italy have survived, and remember they are down to 14 men. Another 5.5 minutes in the bin for Louis Lina, son of the great Michael. Played 67 times for the Harlequins in London. Not all of them in London, of course. So here we go again. Line out to Ireland, midway between the Italian 22 and 10 metre line, near side of the field. The Irish left. Everything going with throws so far as out of touch is concerned. Long throw to the back. Goes over the top. Prendergast gets it away. Stuart McCluskey takes it on. Goes to ground, sets it up nicely. Casey to the far side. Good driving forward by Chukwu. Casey again. Here come on, and that's nicely done. McCluskey gets it away. Osborne moves it wide to James Lowe. James Lowe will hop and skip and come across the 22 metre line. Leaves it behind him. Casey gets the ball away quite nicely. Clarkson, Prendergast, good driving forward by Ireland. James Ryan was in the middle of all of that. Casey once again. Prendergast. McCluskey sells an outrageous dummy and drives forward. Tackled by Zuliani. McCluskey's made a good bit of ground. Casey to the far side. Ringrose puts the head down, gets himself well tackled. Great Italian defending. Their numbers are perfect out there. Back inside once again, and it's Chukwu helps set it up. Casey to the far side, the Irish right. Bit of a mismatch here, and they can't quite get it away to Balakoon, much as they try. Casey's back in there again, and again it's Ireland taking on. It's Keelan Doris wearing number 7 sets it up. Ireland getting closer, about 10 or 12 metres from the Italian line. Prendergast, little flat pass to McCluskey, gets it away. It's going to be a try for Jamie Osborne, his third international try. Lovely bit of handling by the two Irish centres, and the offload right at the end for the try by Stuart McCluskey was sublime. But what a wonderful line cut by Jamie Osborne on the first try of the afternoon.
Great try from Jamie Osborne. Great team try. It's been building nicely. When Ireland keep hold of the ball, they look really threatening. Stuart McCluskey does incredibly well here. He rides a tackle, draws in 2 or 3 defenders, and for such a big man, he's got lovely deft hands. He gets half tackled, goes down onto a knee, but manages just to offload the ball. Jamie Osborne's coming onto it. at real pace like a freight train, and that is a great team try by Ireland.
Chance to turn 5 into 7. Prendergast to the near side of the field, little right-footed chip, and he's made a complete mess of that. So that was a very bad miss by Sam Prendergast. Every point is precious, and Ireland have spurned the chance of going 7-0 up. However, they won't be too unhappy as we approach the halfway point of this first half. 17, almost 18 minutes gone, and Ireland leading, Michael, by 5 points to 0.
Exactly what we didn't see last Thursday against France. The intent to carry hard, the intent to get over the gain line, the energy, the enthusiasm, getting around the corner, offering yourselves up. It's a completely different picture today, and as I've said a few times, the longer Ireland keep hold of the ball, they respect the ball, they don't force those 50-50s, the Italian defence just gets more and more passive.
Paolo Garbisi restarts, left-footed, well taken in by Ireland inside the 22 is Thomas Clarkson, the tight head prop, who's playing his 11th game today, and they get it back to Prendergast, and Prendergast, having missed the conversion, gets the ball away. Doesn't make an awful lot of ground. Prendergast, his striking is not all that accurate today, but Ireland have cleared their lines, and Italy will have a line out just outside the Irish 22. Way over the other side of the field from us here in our comedy position in the west stand, so it's the east stand side. Italy playing towards the Lansdowne Road end. Have the line out, standing at the back of the line out, loose head prop Danilo Fischetti. Hooker Nicotera with the throw, holds the ball aloft. Bit of a jump in the middle, Ireland very nearly pinched that, but Italy have won it, and they've gone to ground, and the referee is going to give a penalty against Ireland, I think, for interfering at the line out, which is rather unfortunate, and that's going to give the Italians the chance to go to the corner and maybe catch and drive and at least level the scores.
Yeah, big opportunity here for Italy.
It was Irish. It was Izuchukwu allowed the man to catch the ball, and as the man was coming down, he then played the man, which you're not allowed to do until he touches the ground. Yeah,
that's it, exactly. And this is a great opportunity for Italy to get some scoreboard pressure. The possession stats just came up on our screen. Ireland have had 75% of the possession. You'd probably think after 19-20 minutes that you'd like to be a bit further ahead than 5-0 on the scoreboard for that amount of possession.
Well, interestingly, the Italians have gone for a kick at goal. It's about 15 metres in from the far touchline, the east stand side, the Irish left, and right on just outside the 22. Garbisi left-footed, and he doesn't make any mistake, does he? So Italy on the board, and this game was always going to be a very finely balanced one, and it's turning out to be that. Into the second quarter of the game, 20 minutes and a wee bit played, and it's Ireland 5, Italy 3.
Yeah, and that line out, that penalty, Izuchukwu, like you said, he got up really well, showed his athleticism, his height, his ability his speed across the floor to get up in the air and nearly nick it, but you can't contest, you can't touch the arm of the opposition in the air.
Prendergast took a quick restart kick to the near side of the field, but it was gathered in by Italy, and they've got the ball back, and Garbisi goes into scrum half, taken on by second row Nicolo Cannone. He set it up just inside the 10-metre line. Back to Fusco, kicks right-footed, that's high, and Osborne's coming racing in, and Osborne jumps and knocked forward by Ireland. Play on, says the referee. Maybe it was knocked back by Italy, otherwise it would have been a penalty. Well away by James Ryan. This is better stuff by Ireland. Here comes Osborne, sells a ridiculous dummy, very nearly gets away. Good support play by Sheehan. Casey brings it to the far side. Prendergast again, nicely done by Ireland. Now they bring it back inside. Keelan Doris, the skipper, wearing number 7. Casey pops it up, nicely done by Clarkson. Prendergast, little flat pass. Ireland still going forward, courtesy of Joe McCarthy. Goes to ground, sets it up midway between the Italian 10-metre line and 22. Now they move it to the far side of the field. Here goes Doris, bounces off an Italian defender, gets up to the 22. Casey, Prendergast, better stuff by Ireland. Osborne knocks it on. Oh dear, he just looked up. It wasn't the most sympathetic of passes, but he should be expected to have gathered that, and as he makes the mistake, Louis Lina comes back on, so Italy back up to 15 men and only 2 points adrift, 5-3 to Ireland.
Yeah, Jamie Osborne just knocks the ball on there. Ireland again building really nicely. He hasn't had that much game time. It was his first game back against France last week. hadn't played since Japan in November. Obviously Hugo Keenan's out with the hip, and redid another injury doing his thumb there in the Portugal camp before the Six Nations. But just the skill set knocking on from that France game as well, just the ability to keep the ball for long periods of time. The longer they do, the more the defence starts to break down for Italy. They're back to 15 men now as Liner's back onto the field.
Italy's scrum 5 or 6 metres outside their 22 and about 20 metres in from the far touchline, the Irish right. Ireland playing towards the Havelock square end. Packed stadium here. Referee gives a free kick against the Irish front row for moving forward before the engagement was required. Chance now for Italy. It is a free kick. If they kick it directly into touch, it's going to be an Irish liner, but they don't kick it directly into touch. That's a nasty teasing kick. Allborn well underneath it, gets across his own 10-metre line, goes to ground, sets it up for Casey. Here come Ireland again. This is a little bit better. James Lowe kicks left-footed for the near touchline. That's high and that's hanging, and that's well gathered in by the Italian fullback Lorenzo Pani. He puts a screamer up into the air. Well taken by Lowe. Hands off one man, hands off Liner. Comes back in field. Lowe still moving forward. Gets across his 10-metre line. Leaves it for Casey, who glances to the near side of the field. James Ryan, who's been prominent, goes to ground just outside his 10-metre line. McCarthy comes in to help, but it goes to Casey. Little deft left-footed chip, and where's that? It's coming back on the Irish side. Well gathered in by Ireland. That's well done by Ireland. Casey moves it wide. Now James Ryan sells a bit of a dummy, gets across the halfway line. Casey in there quickly. Prendergast pops it up to McCluskey. McCluskey sets it up once again to Osborne, who's come in to support him on halfway. Ireland pushed back into their own half. Casey managed to get away somehow. Jack Conan takes it on, and he's well tackled. The Italian defending this past season or two have been just exemplary. Prendergast kicks right-footed, comes down just inside the Italian 10-metre line, and away they go. Little chip and chase. This could bounce awkwardly. Oh, it has bounced awkwardly, and away goes the scrum half. Fusco, intercepted somehow by Ireland, and Gary Ringrose gets the ball away. Jack Conan is there. That really should have been an Italian try, and that would have put the cat among the pigeons, and the referee has blown the whistle, and it's going to come back, I think, for an offence, and it's going to be a scrum to Ireland following an Italian knock on. How was that not a try, Michael McCarthy?
Wow, that was some bit of play from Lorenzo Pani. A little chip over the top. He regathers it, just gets there before Prendergast, and the last pass to the Italian player doesn't go to hand. It's a knock on, but a bit of a get out of jail there for Ireland. But what about the Italian defence? You know, I've kept saying how narrow they are and getting passive at times, but that defensive set was brilliant. They had good spacings, good line speed. That third defender out from the breakdown leading the line up, and Ireland were going absolutely nowhere. Italy, for a change, were winning the collisions, winning the gain line. Prendergast had to kick. The screen, on our screen, Gonzalo Quesada's reaction to the knock-on as the try line went begging. He just can't believe it. But what a lovely bit of play from Italy.
You know what, I would have to mention Gonzalo Quesada, what an outstanding player he was when he played for the Argentinian Pumas, but what a difference he's made to Italian rugby from the top up, pulling everybody up by their bootlaces.
Yeah, 100%. And wow, what a start for them last week at home. First game, first round, beating Scotland. Conditions were terrible. That didn't matter. Full house over in Rome.
Well, full house here at dear old Lansdowne Road. It's a scrum to Ireland. They're just to the near side of their own post, and they're right on the 22. Played nearly 26 minutes, 5-3 the difference. Try by Jamie Osborne after 16 minutes. No conversion from a pretty straightforward position by Prendergast. Then a penalty by Garbisi for Italy. Ball goes into the scrum. Referee blows the whistle. She's not happy with it. A little bit of pressure being exerted on Jeremy Loughlin, the Irish loosehead, by Simone Ferrari, who in fact is the most capped Italian player on the park with 70 appearances, 71 including today, 2 World Cups, 135 games he's played for Benetton, who provide the core of this Italian side. Holly Davidson having a little word with the respective front rows, asking them to just behave themselves and get down and obey her instructions. Let's see if Ireland can get this one away. They've got 2 players on this near side, the Ireland right inside the 22, Jamie Osborne, and outside him James Lowe. And on the other side is Prendergast, then McCluskey, then Ringmose. And far on the far right wing is Robert Balakoon. So here they go again. Can they get this one right? Down to go. Casey pops it in. Well, the scrum has collapsed and the referee thought about the penalty but has changed their mind. Prendergast gets away. McCluskey gets away to Prendergast. Little chip, and that's going to go straight into touch. No, it's not. Well gathered in by once again Lorenzo Pani, and he has a bit of a go. In fact, this time it is Fusco. He sets it up well. Here come the Italians yet again. Good driving forward just outside their 10-metre line, smack in the middle of the park to bring it to the near side of the field. Fischetti, the front row forward, takes it on. Ireland trying and striving to try to win that ball back, and they do go in somewhat illegally. James Ryan was in as a punch-off for giving away penalties, but not this time. Nicely done by Italy. Good tackle by Stuart McCluskey. Hasn't won the ball back, but he's slowed things down. Fusco sets the ball up on his 10-metre line, 50 metres in from touch. Thought about the kick, and then Italy get the ball away, and here comes Garbisi. Now there's a chance here with Pani. Pani moves it wide. Here comes Ioane. Steps back infield. Good covering by Ireland, but they're back close to the 22. Italy win the ball well. Nice little step, and they set it up. Good work in there by the Italian number 8, Lorenzo Cannone. Now Italy bring the ball to the open side once again. Ireland's defence isn't bad at all. Joe McCarthy put the first tackle in. Italy once again, plenty of room out on the far side, but they can't get the ball away. Ireland have closed them down. Italy win the ball on their own, on the Irish 10-metre line. Now they move it wide. Zuliani takes it forward, gets across the 10-metre line. Still there for Italy. Ireland, plenty of men in there, but it's all blue at the moment. The ball is coming back. Little chip through, not well advised. Osborne gathers it, sweeps it infield to James Lowe. Now who's he got outside him? Doesn't matter. A little chip by James Lowe. He gathers it very nicely. Good work by Casey. Good backing up by Casey. Little fella's going forward, puts his head down, leaves it behind him. Tackled by Leonardo Marin, replacement for Ignazio Brecht. Stuart McCluskey bounces off an Italian player. The crowd don't like that. It was as much McCluskey's fault as anybody else's. Casey gets it in. Ireland not really going anywhere. James Ryan tackled well short of the halfway line. Ireland still inside their own half. Nearly half an hour gone. 5-3 to the home side. Casey decides to kick left-footed down the near touchline there on left. Ringmove jumps and he's knocked it forward. Play on, says the referee. Lina comes away with it. Good tackle by Ireland and by Thomas Clarkson back on the Italian side on their own 10-metre line. This is good stuff by the men in blue. Little chip, half charge down. Ireland need to claim this, and they do through Gary Ringrose. Good work by his fellow centre Stuart McCluskey in there to help, and the referee has spotted a little bit of nonsense on the ground by Ireland, thinking maybe Ringrose not releasing the ball or playing the ball when he was tackled, and it's going to be a penalty to Italy, and that'll give them a chance to get into Irish territory with just 10 minutes remaining.
Yeah, some helter-skelter stuff there. Italy haven't had too much possession, but they had some lovely phases there. They all knew their shape, know exactly what they were doing. They're all on the same page. Some big, strong carries. There's some big collisions going out there. The collisions from Irish side in terms of the intent and the physicality is so much better. But you have to say as well, the Italians are doing exactly the same. A massive tackle there from, I think it was Lorenzo Cannone. They're not being passive. They're bringing a serious amount of physicality to this opening 30 minutes.
Well, Aaron knew very well that this was not going to be a gimme in golfing parlance, and it certainly hasn't been. Good strike by Paolo Garbisi, the 25-year-old. Pops it into touch, played 4 games for Italy in the most recent World Cup, and was doing a great job playing in the French top 14. And he struck it well with his left foot, and he's found a good touch 4 or 5 metres just outside the Irish 22, the far side of the field, the east stand side. Italy playing towards the Lansdowne Road end here. Packed crowd. Line out to Italy. Nicotero with the ball, about to throw in. Now will Ireland challenge or wait till it's caught? They have challenged, but the ball has been nicely caught by the Italians. And they drive forward. Now they win the ball. Good little flat pass. They get across the 22-metre line, and they're on the front foot, and they move it to the far side of the field. That's very clever use of space by Italy. Good covering by Ireland, but the ball coming back on the Irish side. Fusco gets it away to loose head prop Fischetti. Fischetti sets it up well. Ireland threatening to get themselves offside through open side flanker, but the ball has gone to hand and kicked away, and the referee's going to play advantage. Rob Balakoon was the man who kicked it away, and his opposite number, Ioane, has got away from him. Ioane put the ground on the 10-metre line. Now Italy bring it to the open side of the field. Defending by Ireland was not bad. Now they've moved it wide. Here comes Pani with Lana outside him on the up to kick, and that's not a bad kick at all. And this Italian side are producing a wonderful variation in play, Michael.
Yeah, 100%, and that's pretty cool, calm, collected from Lorenzo. Pani started off so well for Italy. They had the penalty, they had the line up, they threw to the front. It was a great gain line by Menoncello, carrying hard, carrying direct. They came back down the short side. They're building nicely, but Ferrari, the prop, he couldn't keep hold of the ball. He knocked it on, kick downfield from Ireland onto the halfway. Great chase by Balakoon, but Ioane does really well with some good footwork.
Give us space, thank you.
And Holly Davidson has asked for a look at the big monitor. I think there was a head clash with Lorenzo Cannoni going full steam into the face of the man who's about a quarter of his size, Craig Casey, and that looks like a head on head. There's a head contact.
So it meets the yellow card threshold and off field review.
I think it's going to be another yellow card for the Italians. Craig Casey absolutely flattened. I mean, had the contact with a legal enemy, he was always going to get flattened, but I think it was a head on head.
Okay,
and that was that. James, a dangerous. Listen to Holly Davidson.
Okay, we do have head contact. 9 is upright, therefore we do have foul play. It meets the yellow card threshold, so a yellow card and off-field review.
So another yellow card, this time against the Italian number 8, Lorenzo Cannoni. No, it's not. Is it against Craig Casey?
Yeah, it's Craig Casey.
My goodness, that seems unfair.
Yeah, no, I have to say I think it's 100% the right decision, Jim. Casey definitely comes off second best because Cannoni carries hard, direct. You know, he comes in low, dips the shoulder, but Craig Casey, he's only short, as we know, and he's standing bolt upright. It's up to him to get lower and lower his body height and bend the knees. He
couldn't get very much lower, could he? He's only a wee fella.
Well, yeah, exactly. He could make a bit of a speed bump maybe, but yeah, no, it's the right decision. Yellow card.
Well, and in the meantime, we've gone across to the far side of the field for the original penalty to Italy, and they put it into touch, and they've got a line out about 6 metres from the Irish line, the far side of the field, the Italian left. Italian shunting towards the Lansdowne Road end. 7 and a bit minutes to the interval. 5-3 to Ireland. Crowd getting behind the boys in green. Well taken in by Italy. Now they're going to try the drive for the line. Ireland have dug in well. In the middle of it all is Niccolo Cannoni. And Ireland digging in, and Italy still moving forward, and in goes Tommaso Menoncello, and in goes Ioane, and they drive for the line, and they're over the line, and the Italians have scored their first try here this afternoon at Lansdowne Road, and it's a very well taken try by Italy. And I do believe it's Nicotero, the hooker, who's got it.
Yeah, Nicotero Giacomo, and it's great play from Italy. It's a 6-man line out. They don't initially get a very good nudge on them all 5 metres out, but they so slowly starts to spin round. They build, backs start joining. Ioane's in there joining. It starts to creep forward, and the Nicotero Giacomo, he just breaks off, and you wonder, was that the right decision? Clearly it was, because he goes straight over the try line, and that is a great riposte from Italy with Casey in the bin.
Conversion from the far touchline by Garbisi as he pulled that one in. Oh my goodness, he can't miss. What a striker of a ball is this fella Paolo Garbisi, and a great try by the hooker Giacomo Nicotero. Conversion by Paolo Garbisi, and it's now double scores. It's Italy, Ireland 5 and Italy 10, and what a first half from the visitors.
Yeah, as I said, initially I thought Ireland had defended that maul really well. It wasn't going forward at all, and then the backs just started slowly joining. 1, 2, 3 of them. It started to nudge forward, and yeah, Andy Farrell comes on a screen looking very concerned for all the possession Ireland have had. They haven't got the points on the scoreboard, and Italy leading 10-5.
Restart kick by Prendergast, puts it nicely down, knocked forward by Ireland and by Jeremy Loughlin. Ball was tapped back, and he wasn't quite alert enough, and he spilled it forward to give Italy the scrum and the advantage and the chance, I'm pretty sure, to kick the ball down back into the Irish half. We've got 5 minutes to go to the interval, just a wee bit more than 5, and Ireland, who at one stage were 5-0 up, then 5-3 up, and then 8-5 behind, and now 10-5 behind, and Italy, who've never won the Six Nations game in Lansdowne Road, have only beaten Ireland once in the Six Nations, and that was a long time ago in 2013 in Rome itself. The first game played at the Stadio Olimpico, if I recall. They've been coming here for a long time, and this is the 39th game between the two sides at just about every level. Ireland have only lost one game in the championship, and they've lost 4 overall. And Italy now have the scrum midway between their own 22 and their 10-metre line, just smack dab in front of the Italian post. Holly Davidson breaks them up yet again, not happy with the way the scrum is going about its business. Omagazuchuku on the far side, towering above everybody. He is a big unit. I haven't maybe seen the best of him so far, certainly not this season for Ulster. Andy Farrell has placed a huge vote of confidence in him and a number of other players, and so far that hasn't really been repaid, apart from the Jamie Osborne try. And the gloss was taken off that by a simple conversion missed by Sam Prendergast, who's having not the most exciting of games. Here they go again. Scrum's a lot better, and the referee's given Ireland a penalty against Ireland in the scrum, and a bit of nonsense breaks out once again. The gentleman behind me shouting, "Get in there." I'm not sure that was the best idea in the world. In the old days, Michael, it might have been the best idea. A little bit of a punch thrown didn't do anybody any harm in those days.
Yeah, how things have changed, Jim. How things have changed, but yeah, definitely a momentum shift. Ireland won the first penalty, painted a really good picture in this game, but slowly but surely momentum started to turn towards Italy. That's a really strong, solid scrum for them. They get the penalty. There's a few handbags, bit of pushing and shoving.
I think it went against Tom Clarkson for taking the scrum down. And the Italian skipper Michele Amaros had a word with Holly Davidson. And Paolo Garbisi will kick left-footed and finds a very good touch about midway between the Irish 10-metre line, the Irish 22, far side of the field, the Italian left. 3 minutes remaining. What a first half it's been for the Italians, building and building and building upon that wet, sudden victory against the Scots in Rome last weekend. What a game that was. If you win the toss, defend the deep end, I think was the mantra. So Italy's line out, Holly Davidson asking them both to come up. Ireland skipper once again. A lot of people felt he should have lost his place, but Keelan Doris moves back into the 22. Italy have called a shortened line out, 5 men in and one tail gunner at the back, and Manuel Zuliani, well taken by Italy and by Andrea Zambonin. Italy just taking their time. They know they've got the lead. They know they've got about 2 minutes and a wee bit left to go to the interval. They'll be very happy to turn now. And if it means not increasing the lead, they'll be equally happy. Now they win the ball. Now they've brought it to the open side of the field. Ball has gone backward by Italy. Holly Davidson decides. Back in the Italian side again. They're getting there so quickly. Again, it's set up nicely. Zuliani gathers the ball in midway between the Irish 10-metre line and the 22. Here comes Marin driving forward. Leonardo Marin in for Ignazio Bress, the Italian skipper. There's a wee half gap there, but they nearly filled by Italy, and Ireland have managed to rescue that. The ball had gone forward from Italy. James Ryan picked it up. Half a chance for Ireland if they can get the ball away. Prendergast doesn't really know what he's doing, but he's got it away to McCarthy, who's tackled on the Irish 10-metre line. Gary Ringrose has to go into scrum half. Jack Conan pops it up for his fellow back row forward, who hasn't managed to gather it in, Keelan Doris. It has not gone well for the Irish back row collectively or individually this evening. Prendergast goes into scrum half and kicks right-footed, rather a bit on the long side, well taken in by the full-back. Lorenzo Pani on his own 10-metre line, rounds up to halfway. Bit of a gap appears for him. He gets across the halfway. Italy pile in. Referee happy with that. Garcia moves it wide to Garbisi. Ball is kicked down, and it's going to bounce, and it's going to go over the goal line, and it's going to be dotted down for a goal line drop out to Ireland. Not much time left, just a minute to go, and Italy have dominated most of this first half.
Yeah, the pictures in the first 10, 15, even 20 minutes from Ireland were really good. Confrontational, physical, winning the gain line, winning the collisions, but the momentum has shifted big time. 20 minutes to 38, 39 minutes as it is now. Italy, they just look so confident. They're playing with serious confidence. They're running, they're attacking, they're offloading, they're playing to space, and they look really comfortable.
Big long restart kick by Prendergast, gathered in by Italy, who take play back inside the Irish 10-metre line. Nice handling by Italy. Chance to move it wide to Lina, who's out in this near wing, and it goes forward by the full-back Lorenzo Pani. Referee waiting for advantage, and no advantage has come, and she's knocked that forward. Is that going to be half time? No, there's still time for the scrum. We've still got about 5 seconds and even less now of normal playing time toward the end of the first half, which has not been a good one for Ireland.
Yeah, I think Gonzalo Quesada, the coach for Italy, won't be happy with that last kind of 5-10 seconds. It's almost half time. Italy looked a bit too relaxed there, passing the ball down the back line towards the touchline. They were just drifting out. No one was straightening up, running a hard line, and yeah, just a poor pass gets kind of knocked on, and Ireland have a chance before half-time. Their scrum well inside their own half, but let's see what they can do.
Well, this time last week, and we don't want to really think about it, Ireland made a few changes at the interval which improved things. I wonder, will he do something similar in a few seconds' time, or when he gets everybody and has a little word with them? And I'm sure one or two of those words might be somewhat on the harsh side. It's because there's no Casey, who's still in the bin. He's got about 40 seconds to go, but he won't be back on the field this half. Gary Ringrose is playing scrum half. Not sure how many times he's done that, but all he's got to do is put the ball in and get it away. Big scrum by Italy. Ireland getting Mintz there in the front row, and they give away a penalty, and it's getting worse for Ireland out there. Holly Davidson, no problems whatsoever in giving a penalty, and a wonderful expression in the face of Manuel Giuliani. But it was a great bit of scrummaging by the Italians without a single shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, these are certainly worrying signs, worrying pictures for Ireland playing at home. Spoken all week about intent, spoken all week about physicality, and they are just absolutely manhandled at that scrum on their own put-in. Really cute, really clever from Italy. Scrummaging as an 8, 16 feet on the floor. As soon as that ball goes in, all the weight comes through, and Ireland are just going backwards.
Well, we saw what the Italians did at the Scottish scrum last week, and Italy not going for the post. Garbisi going for the corner, and he struck that quite splendidly. He is probably the most accomplished outside half the Italians have had since the Argentinian chappie who was there a long, long time ago. So last set play of this first half, we have played nearly 3 minutes of time in the red, so to speak. Casey is back on the field, so that's at least a bit of a plus for Ireland. But their main negative is that they find themselves 5 metres from their own line, the near side of the field, the Italian right, and it's an Italian line out. In they throw, gathered it in well. Now can Italy drive for the line and force Ireland across the line and get their second try of what's been a torrid afternoon for the boys in green. Italy working away as hard as they can. Zambanini, now they move it wide. The drive forward within 5 metres of the Ireland line. Italy held up just 5 metres away. There's a great chance for them to increase their lead and get a second try if they possibly can. If Ireland manage to turn it over, Holly Davison is right on the spot. Ball is coming back. I think Ireland have managed to turn it over, or have they? Italy's still driving forward. Ball is in there somewhere. Holly Davison is in there. Has she blown the whistle? She has blown the whistle, and that's the end of the first half. And Ireland have got themselves out of jail there. That could very easily have been a second try, and a little bit of nonsense breaks out, and Ireland will turn round trailing. Oh, there was a punch definitely went in there from Ioane onto the chin of James Ryan. That was a punch, and Ioane is furious with something, and he's had a pop at James Ryan, and you can push and shove all you like, but you're not allowed to punch somebody, and I'd like to see that again. Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, that is not a good look, and yes, clear as day a punch. There's an altercation there, arguing about something, and rush of blood there by Ioane. He's definitely clipped James Ryan, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, that if it is a punch, there's deemed to be a punch, that's a red card offence with a shell of a doubt. But everybody in the studio will be debating that. A great start by Ireland, early try after 16 minutes, Jamie Osborne. But after that, it's been all Italy. Penalty by Garbesi, a try by Hooker Nicotera, which is converted by outside half Garbesi. And at the half-time here at Lansdowne Road, and a bit shell-shocked the crowd. Ireland trailing. It's Ireland 5 and Italy 10.
Yeah, thanks to Jim and to Mike. Yeah, it's a pretty subdued atmosphere there at the Aviva Stadium. Ireland trailing Italy 10 points to 5 at half-time. But before we get the thoughts of our studio guests here, with the time just almost coming up to 4 minutes past 3, let's get the latest BBC News.
BBC News NI on Radio Ulster and on BBC Sounds.
Good afternoon, I'm Eve Coleman. Emergency services are at the scene of a serious crash between a car and a bus in Templepatrick. It happened on the Ballyrobin Road near Belfast International Airport. The ambulance service says it dispatched a number of crews to the scene at around 8 o'clock this morning, including an air ambulance. One patient was taken to the Royal Victoria Hospital. Police say the road will be closed for a number of hours and are asking those travelling to the airport today to leave extra time for their journeys. Diversions are in place and some buses to and from the airport have been cancelled. A 32-year-old man has appeared in court this morning charged with murder. Isaac Coco, with an address on Cromwell Road in Belfast, is accused of murdering Ahmed Abdi. The 33-year-old victim was found on Wednesday following a report of a concern for safety. Appearing in the dock at Belfast Magistrates Court, Mr Coco, originally from Sudan, spoke only to confirm his name and that he understood the charge. There was no application for bail and the case will return to court next month. A man's been left with serious facial fractures after an assault in Londonderry in the early hours of this morning. It was reported at around 1:30 that a man was attacked by two men carrying baton-like objects in Abbeydale in the Waterside. Police are appealing for information. 5 countries, including the UK, say tests on the body of the Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny show he was poisoned with a toxin derived from South American frogs. The Kremlin cited a heart condition when Mr Navalny died in a Siberian penal colony 2 years ago. The BBC's world news correspondent Joe Inwood says a statement from the European allies says there's no innocent explanation for the presence of the unusual poison.
I'm not an expert on the Ecuadorian dart frog, but I think it's fair to say they're not generally found in Siberia. And so the conclusion that the government have come to is that the only way that epibetadine could have made its way from the jungles of Ecuador and Peru as well into Siberia and into the body of Alexei Navalny is if someone had put it there, and that the only people that could have put it there are the Russian government.
The Brazilian alpine skier Lucas Pinheiro Braathen has made history by winning South America's first ever medal at the Winter Olympics. He claimed gold in the men's giant slalom event in the Italian Alps. And the weather will turn cloudy and increasingly windy in the afternoon, with a band of rain and hail snow pushing in from the southwest during the evening. Tonight will start cloudy and wet with some snow on the hills, but it should soon turn drier with variable cloud and scattered showers. BBC News.
This is Sports Sound Rugby.
Listen live, on digital, online or on BBC Sounds.
Yeah, we're going to stick with the rugby here. If you're wanting to tune in to Sports Sound today, it's on usually over on Radio Foil and BBC Sounds. We're concentrating on the Six Nations rugby here on Radio Ulster. And Claire, Gareth are with me that first half didn't quite go the way we thought it might. Claire, what was that you said before the game? You said that Ireland had never lost to Italy at home in the Six Nations.
Yeah, I did mention that. And I think another part of that stat was that they'd never trailed at half-time, so there's a first time for everything. Yeah, it's been a really frustrating first half of rugby. I do think Ireland started well. Those first 10-15 minutes we were seeing, they were really physical, they were winning gain line, they were carrying really well, winning collisions, and obviously we saw a lovely score from Osborne off the back of some really good phase play. But it just seems like Italy have really grown into this game. They have been so physical in defence. They've been pushing Ireland off the ball, and then whenever they attack, they look dangerous. And yeah, I think they deserve to be ahead at half time.
Yeah, very much so. And Gareth, Ireland really lost their way in this game. If one team was desperate for the half time whistle, it would have been Ireland to get a chance to regroup there. What do you think's gone wrong?
Well, one team looks confident, the other looks very, very nervous. That's just the way it looks. It looks like Ireland looked like a side. You look at the possession they had in the first half, they had 75% possession. They were getting close to the line, and the breakdown just wasn't right. They were getting slightly turned over close. They just looked like they were hoping to get across the line a little bit. And then when they finally do get across the line, it's long phases of play, a nice little bit of play with Stu McCluskey with a great little offload, a good line from Osborne to get the score, but then straight off the back, a conversion that you expected would go over as well. So they do look like a side that's pretty much just trying to almost hopefully getting the crowd to get behind them a little bit as well. But when you look at what Italy are doing, like Italy, they've got variation, they turn the ball over, they look to go straight into their fast transitions between what they do. Their kicking game is they're putting Ireland in the right areas of the pitch, and from the coaching staff for Italy will be sitting going, this is exactly what they would have wanted to happen. They've probably talked a lot about Ireland being under pressure for the week, and they're sticking in the game, and you can see that they're actually implementing their game plan really well.
Yeah, Ireland, a team that look like they're waiting for someone to make something happen rather than going out there, Claire, and making it happen themselves, whereas the Italians have been very creative, very proactive.
Yeah, they have, and we've seen even just a few untidy balls and inaccurate passes from the Ireland side, and that sometimes allowed Italy to get into the game, where there have been almost intercepts, and we were lucky at a stage that Louis Lina knocked the ball on and ended up with a yellow card rather than an intercept and a try.
Because that's when Ireland scored their try.
Yeah, exactly. So Italy just look that bit more switched on, and Ireland are trying things, but they just don't look like they're as accurate as they should be, and it's leading to errors. It's leading to allowing Italy into the game.
And slow ball coming back as well. It all looks a little bit predictable as well, Gareth, and a few kicking the ball away again. You've been a little bit frustrated with that.
Yeah, no, a little bit, because it's like anything. Ireland are a team that like to keep possession, and they're pretty good at it when they do it. They don't have the strike as such, maybe with the speed of what they're getting over the gain line a little bit. They'll be frustrated with that, but they are a team that break the other opposition down, and whenever you can, and we've played in that position where I know we're almost singling out Sam here, but when you're not confident what you're trying to do, you tend to look to just put the ball through, a little kick, like there's a little kick 2 metres from the try line. It's a little bit frustrating. I know they have a penalty advantage, but Italy are delighted that they've done that. Another one in around the halfway line, another little kick, it kind of just feeds into what Italy, and you can see straight away the fullback for Italy, he's just picking the ball up, he's then having an opportunity to play. They set up a box kick, Italy, but then they move it wide, things like that, which makes them a little bit unpredictable. Things that Ireland were good at before, but again, like I said, a team that's probably struggling for a little bit of confidence, trying to find a way, and today is probably more about just finding a result.
How are they going to get the momentum back here? Seazy initiative at the start of the second half, Claire.
They're going to need to come out and try to physically dominate again. We saw at the start of the first half that Ireland's scrum and their line-out were dominant, but then that quickly shifted throughout that first half, and we saw obviously Italy getting a penalty at the scrum just towards the end there. So they'll definitely want to see that their set piece is becoming dominant again, because that is your platform to play off. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the likes of Tadhg Furlong coming in to try and shore up that scrum. Obviously Italy have a lot of experience within their pack, and we can see that experience is really showing through. So we're going to want to see players stepping up. We want to see them starting to win collisions again, and it could be that we see a few early replacements for this Ireland side.
Yeah, because they were fortunate not to give away a second try just before half time there when the scrum got pinged. Do you think, Gareth, that he will go and look at his bench already now at half time and make changes, or do you think he'll tell these guys, go back out there and give me a good 10, 15, 20 minutes that we talked about all week?
I think you might see reasonably early. I'd say you're probably right, 5-10 minutes they've got to start be thinking about trying to get a little bit of punch in the team. I'd like to see Nick Timley counting himself on there. I think just when you look at the back row there, Cormac Jew, for example, he is a fellow that we want to get touches on the ball, and he hasn't had that opportunity. And I just think Nick would be good. I think a Dogbu coming on here now, just it'll give the crowd a lift. Potentially bringing a fella like that on, he's going to bring energy. He's going to, he's going to be excited to get on the field. So, and I think he'll match the physicality that the Italians have as well. So, here's hoping.
We just saw TV pictures there of Andy Farrell in the dressing room there with the players. They look like chasing schoolboys all sitting around him. He's prowling around in the middle of the floor. I can imagine. You can imagine what he's saying, Claire. Really?
Yeah, he's not going to be a happy coach right now, and especially with how he felt after that game last week against France. He wasn't happy with the intent, wasn't happy with the physicality. We're sort of going down that line again. We're definitely seeing more intent. We're seeing that the guys are putting in the work rate, but they're not accurate in what they're trying to do. So he's going to be wanting more accuracy definitely coming into this second half. Want to see guys getting over the gain line, winning collisions. And I suppose whenever you look at that first half, out of that Ireland team, there weren't too many names that really stood out as really good performances. We saw a few sparks, the likes of Rob Balogun, whenever he got ball in hand.
He'll be frustrated because he hasn't got as much ball as he'd like.
He's had a couple of opportunities and he has made gain line, he's made ground. You've got to see his pace. Whenever he gets the ball in open space, he can light it up. So we need to get the ball to him more, but Italy are doing such a good job at putting Ireland under pressure in close, and we're not able to get the ball out to those backs that can do something.
Yeah, you'd imagine Andy Farrell, one of the many things he may have been saying there was, we have an absolute speedster out wide there and you haven't been sending the ball out his way.
No, but again, you've got to get a lot of credit to what Italy are doing too. Like, they're defending very well. They're getting off the line. They look very composed when they defend as well. And they're putting Ireland under massive pressure. They are trying. You can see the shape that Ireland are playing with the three off the touchline and pulling a little ball out the back then to Sam. But it does look slightly predictable in what they're trying to do. And it is about trying to break a side down for long phases play to then get the opportunity for Rob Balogun to get the ball in space. So look, at the minute, I think in the change room there, Andy, he'll have seen that they have come out with an intent. He'll have probably felt that the guys are feeling a little bit under pressure. So I don't think it'll be a hairdryer treatment as such. It'll be very much very clear, right, this is the message we need now. Get back to that kind of physicality, the game that they probably talked about before the game started.
So you think he's in more carrot than stick mode?
I would say he probably was stick last week, and he might be a little bit more carrot now, but again, not knowing exactly what's being said there, but it's just by the pictures we've seen, he'll be giving them one or two messages to try and get them back on track.
It's been a little bit niggly as well. We've seen that a few little flashpoints, and there was one there just before half time. James Ryan involved again. Claire, what did you make of that?
Yeah, James Ryan is a player that does like to get stuck in and often is on the wrong side of the ref's whistle. But I think that was Ione and him were having a bit of a tussle, and I think it looked like there could have been a punch, but
he was on the receiving end there, was he, Gareth?
Yeah, he was on the receiving end.
Yeah, no, look, maybe hasn't been a lot said about it. It might have just been a little bit of handbags and stuff, a bit of frustration maybe at the end of the game that they're not getting over the line or something, but it's hard to tell. Look, it's what you would expect in an international game.
Okay, all right. Well, the players are running back out for the second half. Let's see, can Ireland get back into this one? Let's cross back to our commentary team at the Aviva Stadium, Mike McCarthy and Jim Neely.
Well, just one significant change on the Irish 15 from the one that left the field 10 points behind, or the 10-5 down a few minutes ago, and that the familiar figure of one of the greats of modern Irish rugby. Tadhg Furlong, wearing number 18, has come on for his Leinster colleague Thomas Clarkson. So Furlong, three times Lions Test player, 3 World Cups, most experienced prop forward in world rugby at the moment, is on, and still a comparative youngster at 33. So he's the only change. And Ireland 5 points adrift to get us underway at the start of the second half. Outside half, Sam Prendergast puts it high, coming down just outside the Italian 22. Well taken by Izuchukwu, who gets it to Tadhg Furlong. Casey goes one way and then the other. Here comes Rob Balakoon, runs a nice angle, gets up to 22. Casey in quickly, gets it away nicely. Joe McCarthy's taken off at the knees, goes to ground, sets it up nicely, and Ireland drive forward. McCarthy still going, didn't release, but that was okay. Casey went to the blind side, then he went to the open down. Prendergast puts in an awful pass, and Ireland somehow have managed to retrieve the ball, and they're still going going forward, and the referee's got her hand out for a penalty. Here come Ireland again. Prendergast moves it wide to Jack Conan. Conan, did he put a foot in touch? No, he didn't. Gets across the 22, but it's all very flat. Ireland not really making any line breaks. Little flat pass now as Izuchukwu gets her way to Casey. Prendergast, wide pass once again. Here comes Stuart McCluskey, holds the ball above his head and then goes to the ground, tries to set it up, and the referee's not happy and is going to go back for the penalty to Ireland. Decent start from Ireland, but they've got to build on this. They've got to get points on the board, Michael.
Yeah, decent start. Izuchukwu does really well off the kickoff, gets up in the air. He's tall, he's athletic, he's dynamic. 6'7" he is. And the crowd, you can probably hear, starting to erupt. Great field position here for Ireland. They've kicked to the corner off that penalty, 5 metres out, and they need to stamp their authority early in this second half. Big opportunity to set the tone with a maul, a drive. Need to come away with something here.
5 metre line out for Ireland, far side of the field. The Irish left, Lansdowne road end. Sheehan throws it to the front, quickly taken by Jeremy Loughman. Ireland drive closer. Italy wary to it and have stopped them in their tracks. Furlong was waiting to pick up the ball, taken on by Ireland, and by Jack Conan once again, leaves it behind him. Ireland driving forward. Ryan was in there too for Ireland, picked up by Loughman, looking for his first Irish try, held up, but he's turned the body round and he's presented it. Furlong is in there as well. Keelan Doris, the skipper, is there too. He's trying to have a go, and he does get across the line, and the try has been scored by Ireland, and it's nicely done, and that was well done. And it's number 8, Jack Conan, who gets his 14th international try.
Yeah, good start to the second half. Jack Conan goes over, and it's great work. 6-man line out for Ireland, 5 metres out, little throw to the front, no one goes up in the air. Jeremy Loughman gets it, and it's just pretty simple. Round the corner, pick and go, good intent in the carry, low body positions. Player either side of them carrying them through the contact. Jack Conan picks and goes, Loughman picks and goes, and then Jack Conan on the third carry, I think it is, gets over the try line. Really good start to this second half, but Prendergast has missed a relatively easy kick for the conversion again.
Well, if you're going to win games, your goal kicker has to be on form, and Sam Prendergast is not on form, but we're back on level terms at least, and that's a bit of a positive for Ireland, who've got to receive the restart kick. So it's 10-0, 3.5 minutes played in the second half. And remember, if you're just joining us, just the one change on the Irish starting 15 at the beginning of the second half. Tadhg Furlong is on. Long restart kick into the 22, gathered in by Prendergast, who takes his time and kicks right-footed for the near touchline and finds a pretty decent touch. The Italian fullback Lorenzo Pani has pointed out to the touch judge that it's not as far down the field as Ireland would like, and it's a line out to Italy on the Irish 10-metre line, the near side of the field, the old West Stand side. Italy playing from right to left towards the Havelock Square end. Tries to score Nicotera with the ball. Italy have cut the line out down to 6. Tapped back untidily, didn't look altogether straight, and well gathered in by Italy. Over inside, Zuliani goes forward, and Italy forced back inside their 22. Prendergast does a good bit of tackling, but they managed to offload it to a couple of supporting Italian players, and Ireland might just have pinched that one. And Holly Davidson is going to give the scrum though to Italy on the halfway line. Ireland just need to consolidate. They need to try to put a little bit of pressure on. Let's see what Tadhg Furlong can do. At one stage he was without a doubt the number one tight head in the world, wasn't he?
Yeah, and just his aura, the experience, you touched on it there, all that experience coming onto the field, whether he's having an absolute belter of a game or not, just his presence alone on the field, a real talisman. Great to see him back fit. Hopefully he can stay fit, and about to scrummage here surely, and hopefully he's going to shore up this scrum, because it was looking very creaky from an Irish perspective the last 10 minutes of that first half.
Yeah, the Italian loose head Danilo Fischetti, winning his 60th cap today, is a very good scrummager, as Scotland found out last week. Italy's ball in the scrum, and it goes. Good squeeze by Italy on their own put in, and they've got the penalty, and well, there wasn't much of an improvement in the Irish scrum, and here come Italy again. That was knocked forward, but they're going to be brought back for the penalty, and that's not what Ireland wanted at the start of the second half. And a lot of pressure coming through from Danilo Fischetti. He's only 28 years of age. Played in the World Cup in 2023. Plays for the Saints in Northampton, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and these, you have to say, as a former front five forward myself, these are embarrassing pictures. It's these are going to hurt, these pictures. The one before half-time, this first scrum after half-time, I thought Tadhg Furlong coming on was going to shore up that scrum, but a similar picture to the scrum just before half-time. Italy's weight and power comes on all together at the right time, and they send Ireland backward at a rate of knots. It's certainly really not a nice sight. Dan Sheehan getting lifted fully up into the air there with all the weight and the power and the pressure coming through. Big opportunity here for Italy.
Line out to the Italians midway between the Irish 22 and the Irish goal line, near side of the field, the Italian left. Italy with the throw, in it goes. Pinched by Ireland, that's well done, they needed that. Here goes Sheehan, tries to break away. Casey gets the ball back to Prendergast, who kicks right-footed for the near touchline, and that's a decent clearance get gathered in by the naughty boy from the end of the first half. And while nothing has been done about it at the time, that incident may well be referred to the citing commissioner, who may well decide that there is a case to answer, because there was definitely, from where I was watching, a right hand to the chin. However, Ireland have cleared their lines. We've played 7.5 minutes in the second half. 10 apiece, Ireland's 2 tries unconverted, which would have given them a 14-10 lead, and should have given them a 14-10 lead. Now the conversion particularly difficult. Italian line out, they shorten it to 4 players. Well taken in the middle by second row forward Andrea Zamboni. Italy make a decent little bit of ground. Garbisi goes into scrum half, where he can play with equal facility. Good defending in the middle of the park by Ireland, but Italy are going on the front foot, and they break away once again and take it an extra 3 or 4 metres forward. This is good stuff by the Italians. There's loads of blue out of this near side. Here's Ioane with Marin outside him. Little slip pass to full-back Panning, very nearly in the corner, and well covered by Ireland, and Ireland have forced the line out, pushing the Italian player. It was good defending by Rob Balakoon, but Italy's so sharp.
Yeah, really sharp. Great interplay between backs and forwards. Ioane here, little half break, and really good handling, fixing the defender. They nearly get in the corner here. Jamie Osborne just has enough in the tackle just to put the Italian player into touch.
Ireland win the line-out ball, and Ireland tried to burst away through Jack Conan. Goes to ground inside the 22, 10 metres from his own line. Back to Casey, trying to get it not under his right but under his left foot, and Casey does get it away. Tight little angle, but that's not a bad kick by Craig Casey, who was binned, the second Irish player to be binned, or the only Irish player to be binned in that first half. Italy had a man in the bin as well. Tadhg Furlong having a word with Holly Davidson, but once again it's going to be an Italian line out, and the more they have the ball, the more you think they might win this game.
Yeah, bless Craig Casey. That nose, he just came up on a screen there. That nose has seen better days. It looks like he's broken it after that collision with Cannoni, where he got the yellow card.
Yeah, I thought Cannoni should have got the card, but what do I know? And it goes to the Italian. Well taken in once again by Zamboni in the middle of the park. Suliani to Ioane, well tackled by Prendergast and by Stuart McCluskey, who hasn't done very much wrong. Here come the Italians again. Garbisi up to the 22. He's not big, but he's immensely strong. Little chance of an overlap here. Good covering tackle and a good tackle on Lorenzo Pani. But again, Italy set it up and Fusco gets it away. Nicotera, the try scorer, is in there as well. Fusco once again. Garbisi pops it up to Marin across the Irish 22. Italy making steady progress. Zuliani gets it away. Here they come again. Good tackling by Ireland in the middle of the park and by Dan Sheehan, but it's all blue at the moment. They're coming forward. They're now well into the 22 of Ireland, and Ireland under all sorts of pressure, and the ball I think has just been tipped forward by the Italians, and that's going to mean a strong referee's waiting for advantage to Ireland. Tag Furlong just delayed a little bit and got absolutely clattered. Wasn't quite sure what he was doing there, but the ball back on the Irish side, and Osborne's behind his own goal line, and Osborne onto the left foot, and he kicks and hasn't found his touch, has he? Yes, he has, and Italy take it quickly. That's cleverly done. Ioane runs to the far side of the field. Lina takes the ball in. 10 minutes in the bin in the first half. Doesn't make any difference. Remember, 10-all here. Good work once again by the Italian second row. Chance of an overlap, nicely done. Full back comes in, good tackle by Rob Balakoon, who's come in field, but the ball is still with Italy. 5 metres inside the Irish half and 15 metres in from the near touchline. Now they win it again. Little dummy by the full back. He's got away. Great chance here if they can get the ball away. Ioane was impeded. Out the line, who's going to score. Italy in the corner, and they regain the lead by another 5 points on a second try. And he put the Scots to the sword a week ago, and he's done something similar here at Lansdowne Road. And Italy, with their tails up, are looking pretty good.
You said it, Jim, there. Italy playing with their tails up. They are playing with so much confidence. The lines are running. This Menoncello makes an unbelievable line break. He's got power, he's got pace, he's got X factor. And are they going to have a look at this pass? Potentially could be forward. The pass to Lina, where Lina scored from.
Well, that would be such a shame for Italy and for Louis Lina. Ireland will probably feel that they're going to get themselves off the hook. Holly Davison has called for another look at it. Ian Tempest is the TMO. Matthew Carley and Luc Ramos from France have come over to assist the Lady Scottish referee. And the pass, was it forward? It was from Tommaso Menoncello. Hasn't done very much. That certainly was passed from outside the 22 and was gathered by Lina well inside the 22. So the pass was forward unless they judged that it wasn't forward out of the hand but drifted forward. Sometimes it was a very fine line. Lina had to check a little bit to take the ball, which initially made it look as if it wasn't forward. Oh, that's very definitely forward, Michael. What do you think?
Yeah, the more I'm looking at it, the more it looks forward. From an Italian perspective, what a shame, because that is a wonderful team try. Menoncello.
Well, it's no try, according to Holly Davison and her co-conspirators. So 10-all it stays, and they'll come back. And because it was a forward pass, it'll be a scrum to Ireland. Ireland bringing on 3 replacements. Ronan Kelleher is on. Jamison Gibson Park is on. And Tyg Byrne is on.
But you have to wonder how Menoncello got through there. It's a brick wall defence from Ireland. There was no gaps, but Menoncello just somehow finds a way through the defence. I think it was Prendergast that may have missed the tackle, and from an Italian perspective, what a shame that pass goes forward, because it was a wonderfully worked Italian team try. And as you say, some of the bench come on for Ireland. Hopefully they can have the same impact that the Irish bench had last week against France.
Tyg Byrne has gone into the second row. Scrum to Ireland. Jamison Gibson Park, who you would never thought would not be a starting option for this game. has come on. Scrum to Ireland, just on their own 22, far side of the field. Free kick against Italy for a little bit of tweaking the scrum round to one side before the ball was put in. That's a free kick. And if Prendergast finds his touch, it will be a line out to Italy, because it's only a free kick and not the full penalty. He has a little look and he puts it high up into the air. It's a lovely spiralling kick. You never see that anymore, and that's nicely done. And the ball has gone loose and it's bouncing awkwardly, and Italy knock it back. It's gathered in by Ireland. Much better. Ireland up the 22. Gibson Park on the far side. Ireland bring the ball back in. Gibson Park once again sets it up to Kelleher. Good defending by Italy yet again. Again it's Gibson Park, and again it's McCluskey, and McCluskey does a nice bit of offloading. And Ireland drive forward. They're well into the 22, directly in front of the Italian post. Gibson Park to the near side. Jamie Osborne tries score in the first half, takes it on, and he's well held up, and Gibson Park gets it away. Nicely done. Here comes Kelleher. Good support play by Loughman. Referee has let play go on, and Italy have managed to pinch that one. And will they think about maybe running the ball? I don't think they will. They'll be quite content just to get it away and take a little bit of the pressure off. And it's back to scrum half Fusco, and he kicks right-footed for the near touchline, and across comes Rob Balakoon, and the ball has gone into touch, and that's going to be an Irish line. A little bit more enterprise by Ireland there. All came from that wonderful kick. How often do you see guys doing a spiral kick like that anymore, Michael?
Yeah, that looks horrendous to catch. Liner is nowhere near it. It's impossible to read. I think George Ford does those type of kicks for England. It goes up and it comes down. It's moving so much in the air. Yeah, there are 6s and 7s where that ball's going to land.
Gallagher throws. Well taken out of the back by Loughman. It's intercepted by Zuliani. Zuliani gets almost up to the Irish 22, and again they move forward, and they've got to cross that 10-metre line of Ireland. Ball coming back in the Italian side, albeit a bit slowly. Fusco is there just to steady the slip. Now they get it away. Moved away to Garbisi. There's a half chance here, knocked forward by Italy. And Stuart McCluskey swings a rather awkward looking foot, and is kept in by Lina. Referee is playing an advantage to that knock forward, and she seems to be happy enough. And Ioane gets outside 2 Irish forwards and steps back inside, and Balakoon couldn't quite get him. And here come Italy again. This is looking very ominous. If Italy can move this, they've got a lot more skill behind the scrum than Ireland. Garbisi gets it away. Marin gets it away. Now here comes the full back in the line, and he lays it behind him. The ball has gone loose, and Lina puts his foot in touch under a wee bit of pressure from Jemison Gibson Park, and Ireland will be very lucky to get the line out on the far side. The wind is picking up a little bit, according to the touch judge's flag on that far side. Touch judge is Luc Ramos from France. There's a bit of a breeze there, and they're going to come back, and referees having a word with the Irish skipper about something which I don't know.
Well, what about that from Ioane? He's in his own half and he's running across the pitch. Like when you tell the school kids at school to straighten up, he's running across and almost gets himself into trouble, but he gets away from about 3 or 4 Irish defenders, makes an outside break, does incredibly well, pass back inside. And as we've said a few times, Italy look really threatening, really confident when they've got the ball in hand.
Sam Prendergast leaves the field. Number 23, Jack Crowley, comes on. These two have been playing box and cocks, to use this Shakespearean expression, with the outside half position now for the past couple of seasons. One starts, then the other comes on, but nobody's really claimed full-time ownership of that, have they?
No, they haven't, and you have to say, coming into the Six Nations, it's probably Harry Byrne is the in-form fly half in Ireland, and he doesn't even make the match day 23, but you just want someone to take the bull by the horns.
And take a quickly throw to the front. Gibson Park gets away. McCluskey, nice pass by McCluskey. James Lowe comes round, puts the foot in the gas, gets across halfway. He had Osborne and Balakoon outside him. Gibson Park in there nice and quickly. Crowley gets away. Now it's McCluskey. Lovely pass by McCluskey. Byrne offloads nicely. Ireland over the the halfway line. Little flat pass once again. McCluskey, who's been very busy, turns the back and sets it up for Gibson Park, and he brings it in field. Tyke Byrne sets it up. Ronan Kelleher makes ground. Gibson Park once again. Jeremy Loughlin, nicely passed. Good flat pass. Wonderful offload by McCluskey. Not a great pass though by Rob Balakoon. Did it go forward? Not so, says the referee. Well taken on by James Lowe, almost up to the 22. Ireland now on the front foot. Slow ball coming back. Gibson Park gets it away. Lockman. Little flat pass. McCluskey. Lovely pass. Here come Ireland. Now they move it wide. Goes out to the far side. This is good stuff by Ireland. Well into the 22. Ireland set it up nicely. Gibson Park. Crowley taken on by Tyke Byrne. Here come Ireland again. Now it's Gibson Park. This is the best they've played all day. Tyke Byrne, lovely little offload. McCluskey, how does he get that away? Balakoon, sidestep by Balakoon. Balakoon's going to score. Rob Balakoon gets his third international try, and he'll never score a more important one than that one, which restores the Irish lead.
That's more like it from Ireland. That's more like the pictures of the Ireland of old. Balakoon does incredibly well, but what about take a bow, Stuart McCluskey with that NBA basketball offload over the top. But Ireland, they just build really nicely. They're patient. Ball out the back from the forwards, good handling, straightening up, drawing in the defender, width to width. Izuchukwu does really well on the touchline to stay in. And it's a beautiful pass out the tackle again. McCluskey, big man, big frame, gets his hands free, holding the ball like a loaf of bread. Don't know how he gets that ball free and away, but that is a great team try from Ireland.
Jack Crowley with the conversion attempt, and he's nailed that one, and that's just the boost that Ireland needed. For the first time they are 7 points ahead. 18 minutes gone in the second half, and Ireland leading by 17 points to 10. And what a game Stuart McCluskey is having. His offloading and his passing and his distribution has been quite sublime.
Yeah, it's been sublime, but there's a lot of work to still do there from Balakoon. He does really well. Both those players, they're 6'4" plus, big frames, athletic, dynamic, and there's still a lot of work there to do for Balakoon, but he shows his power, shows his pace, fends off one or two defenders that are coming across for Italy, and just powers himself across over the line.
Cormac Izuchukwu has left the field, and Nick Timoney has come on. Taken in on the 22 from the restart kick by Ireland's skipper Keelan Doris, and it's Jamison Gibson Park who's going to try to clear the lines from 5 metres inside his own half, and he kicks right-footed and finds a very good touch. So Izuchukwu off the field, so it's going to be Ryan and Byrne in the second row, and Nick Timoney will come on and probably play open side with Keelan Doris moving to the blind side. Line out to Italy just inside Ireland's 10-metre line near side of the field. Coming up at the end of the third quarter, this is still very finely balanced. If they turned off the lights at the moment, Ireland would be pretty happy with this kind of a scoreline. Here come Italy again. Replacement hooker Tommaso Di Bartolomeo throws it away, and they made a bit of a mess of it. Here come Ireland yet again. Well away by McCluskey. Nice little tip on, and Osborne kicks, and James Lowe is legging it down the near field, and here comes Lowe. Ioane goes back, and he's going to have to turn, and he does turn, and he's got himself caught, and Italy in a wee bit of trouble near their own line. They need to get it away, and they have got it away, and it's a scruffy old clearance, and that gives Ireland the chance for the 22 or inside the 22 line out, and to do something from this, and all of a sudden has the tide turned, Michael.
Yeah, definitely a big momentum shift. Chip downfield, James Lowe, unbelievable kick chase, but you have to wonder what is Ioane doing here. Looks like he's got plenty of time to kick the ball back to get some field position, but he kind of panics. He tries to run it out again like we saw earlier. He did well earlier where he beat 4 defenders running across the field. He tries to do the same again but gets caught, and complete panic stations, and big momentum shift back to Ireland here after that try earlier on. Ireland have the throw in just inside the Italian 22.
Zamboni has left the field, and the Enormous Federico Ruzza from Benetton Treviso has come on. Ireland's line out, far side of the field, just inside the 22 of Italy. Well taken. Gibson Park gets away. Here comes Nick Timoney just on the field. Has a good trundle forward. Little pop pass. Keelan Doris runs into a blue blanket, but he's still going forward. Good strong driving by Ireland. Skipper under a little bit of pressure for his place, remember. Here come Ireland again, and that's Jack Conan makes a decent bit of ground. Gary Ringrose changes direction and runs straight and almost has to jump over a couple of prone Irish players. Gibson Park moves it out to his left-hand side. That's nicely done. Osborne, lovely passing by Ireland at close quarters. Gibson Park yet again. Ireland still driving forward. This is good stuff by the boys in green, held up 2 or 3 metres out. Gibson Park, little chip to the near side of the field, a wee bit too far, but they'll come back for the penalty. That was a kick to nothing. He knew that there was nothing really on, and he knew the penalty was coming. And as we go into the final quarter of this game with Ireland 17-10 up, they've got another penalty. It is very, very kickable. If they take the penalty and get it, it means Italy are going to have to score a couple of times. What do you think? What would you do if you were Irish captain, Michael McCarthy?
Well, certainly the pictures are a lot better. The bench, again, similar to last week, made a big impact. Ireland playing with a lot more power, pace, playing really precise. Jameson Gibson Park, he's getting the ball on a plate. He's injected a lot of pace to the game, and yeah, certainly signs a lot better pictures. And it looks like the old Ireland of old, which we haven't seen for certainly in that first game against France for the first 40-50 minutes. We haven't seen it here, but when Ireland have been good over the previous years, it's when they've kept hold of the ball. They've got into that multi-phase, getting past 10, 15, 20 phases, and the ball retention is a lot better.
Crowley just to the left-hand side of the Italian post and 5 or 6 metres inside the 22. Should be fairly regulation. Little chip kick, nicely done by Crowley, and that's another 3 points for the Irish outside half, and that takes Ireland up to 20 points, leaving Italy on 10 points adrift, and about 17 minutes remaining, and Ireland must gather in this restart kick and get themselves back down into Italian territory just to make doubly sure of a game that had looked at one stage was drifting away from them. Restart kick taken in by Keelan Doris, Ireland's number 7, drives up and across the 22-metre line, and they go to the ground. Gibson Park gets it away. Nicely done by Ireland. Little flat pass to Jamie Osborne. Sells a dummy, gets across the 22. Well tackled by the busy Manuel Zuliani. And Ireland need to get the ball on the ground, otherwise it's going to be a scrum to Italy, and they don't want that because the Italy scrum has been much better. They have got it to ground. Have they? No, they haven't. And that was a bad bit of play by Ireland. That really should have been brought straight to ground to create the ruck, as opposed to the maul, which is when the ball is off the ground. And if you don't get the ball away from the ruck then, or the maul, the opposition get to put into the scrum, and that's what's happened.
Yeah, Jamie Osborne a bit upright going into contact there, gets held up by the Italians. 2, 3, 4 of them come in, hold him up. I actually think he's quick enough getting his knees to the floor, so it should have been a tackle. A bit unfortunate there from an Irish perspective, but yeah, Italy have the scrum on the 22 in the Irish half, and let's see what they can do, because since half-time, since that scrum penalty after half-time to Italy, it has been all Ireland.
Scrum to the Italians, about 10 metres in from the far touchline, the other side of the field. He stands side the Italian right, and just about on the just outside the Irish 22. Italy have made a couple of changes in the front row. I'm noticing number 17, Mirko Spagnolo, the Benetton loose head prop, was on to play against the massive Tag Furlong, who hasn't had it his own way in the scrum so far. Italy have emerged as a very good scrummage inside. They used to be many years ago when they had a lot of pretty hefty boys in there, and then it all went off the rails a bit, but now they're back. Good scrum by Italy, trying to get a secondary shove on. They have got a secondary shove, and they've won the penalty. And Ireland's scrum is not what it was. There's no Andrew Porter, remember. Jeremy Loughlin under a little bit of pressure, as too is the great Tag Furlong. So Italy will, I would think, what do you think, Michael, go for the corner? Wow, Ireland getting lifted right up out of the scrum. I don't ever remember seeing that happening in my entire life, or his entire life, to Tag Furlong. Folded up in two like a cushion and lifted right up out of the scrum. And when you're 20 stone to do that, the man opposite you must be something of a monster.
Yes, incredible weight and power coming through from the Italian back five. They're scrummaging really well, and we saw a similar picture in the first half where Dan Sheehan, as we call it, getting your wings, he goes up in the air. Not a pretty picture. Tyke Furlong there up in the air as well, and really worrying signs at scrum time for Ireland. And you have to say, last week against France, the front row, the pack did really well, giving that scrum foundation after the disappointment of what South Africa did to them in November. But yeah, the pictures in this game are completely different, and the front five, the pack, going back at a rate of knots.
Garbisi with the penalty attempt, and it's a very good penalty attempt. He's landed it, and this game is by no means done, or indeed dusted. It's a 7-point game yet again. Garbisi right on target once again. We have got about 14 or maybe a bit less minutes to go. It's Italy 13 and Ireland 20. And Ireland have brought on Tom O'Toole, who's normally a tight head prop and has never played at this level, at loose head, so it's going to be a tough one for the Ulsterman.
Yeah, there's just an arrowhead of weight coming through from that back five in its scrum time, and Ireland not able to cope with it.
Italy have brought on from Zebra Parma, David Odiasi, an enormous fella. Kick into touch by Italy. They've cleared the ball away. It's going to be an Irish line out. Well, 13 and a half minutes remaining, 7 points between them. Ireland 20, Italy 13. Ireland really simply and must win this game of rugby football here at in Dublin for Kelleher with the ball. O'Toole comes over and tells him where the ball has to be thrown. Tyke Furlong moving to the back of the line out. James Ryan coming up to the middle, behind him Jack Conan, then Tyke Byrne. Kelleher throws, awful throw taken in by Italy. Odiasi helps to get it away, and here come Italy once again. It's Odogwu, Paolo Odogwu, the Englishman who's playing now for Italy, and his line is outside. Little sidestep by fullback Lorenzo Pani back on the Italian side. Garbisi swings it wide. Good defending in the middle of the park by Ireland. Tyke Byrne is in there as well. Italy move the ball. They've got plenty of blue shirts if they can get it away, and it's gone forward. Referee waiting in front of Ireland. It's to Ireland from the knock forward. Gibson Park, better by Ireland. Well away by Crowley. Now they move it right. Here goes McCluskey. McCluskey has a go himself, leaves it behind him nicely. Picked up now Keller. Better by Ireland. Good turning and presenting of the ball by Ireland once again. Gibson Park brings it to the open side of the field, the left hand side. Osborne moves it wide to Balakoon. Not really much he can do when he's been closed down by a couple of men in blue shirts, but he set it up nicely. Gibson Park thought about the narrow side, brings it over, and Crowley to Nick Timmery's try scorer in Paris last week. He helps to set it up. Gibson Park again thinks about left, moves to the right hand side, little left footed kick, but there's nobody chasing it. Jack Conan has bounced once, has bounced twice. It's a very good kick. Now it's not a 50-22, because when he kicked it he was inside the Italian half, but it's a pretty decent kick, Mike.
Yeah, great kick, showing his experience there. There's a blue wall up, they've got good spacings. Italy have been winning the collisions in that defensive set. Ireland were going nowhere. Jameson Gibson Park sees the space, and it's a really well executed kick, putting the pressure back on Italy, who have to now exit with a line out, 4-man line out. They're going for 5 metres out from their own line.
Di Bartolomeo throws, well taken at the front by the other replacement, Ruzza. Ball coming back on the Italian side. They've made a little bit of ground. The other Garbisi's on for a scrum half. Balakoon gathers inside his own half, moves it infield to Jamie Osborne. Where's Jamie Osborne going? He's going to have a go. Gets it away nicely to James Lowe. There's Gibson Parker says a wee half chance here in Wesley, done by Ireland. Ball goes out wide. Gary Ringrose steps back in field, tackled by the covering Odogwu, and the referee comes back, and I think there's a forward pass in all of that, and it's going to be a line out, and on comes for his very first cap. And many congratulations to the big Munster. Edwin Odogwu comes on. What a big man he is, and who's he going to replace? And he's going to replace James Ryan, methinks. So he'll go into the second row. And he is a big lump, isn't he?
He's a big old unit, isn't he? And he kind of reminds me back all those years ago when I was playing, when Ian Henderson came on the scene, ripping up trees. A real physicality, and the journey he's been on. 2021 tearing his left Achilles, 2022 a partial tear of the Achilles, 2023 he tears his right Achilles. What a journey of
stop, you're making me ill.
Journey of resilience and bouncing back, and to see him winning his first cap, it's brilliant, and hopefully he can remain fit, because he is a specimen. He's big, he's physical, he's powerful, and really excited to see what he can do in this last 10 minutes.
Yeah, into the final 10 minutes, and 7 points between them. Ireland 20, Italy 13. Italy have never won in the championship here in Dublin. They've only beaten Ireland once in the championship, and that was way back in 2013 in Rome. But I remember being at Ireland-Italy games when Italy won three games in a row. 2 in one particular year, when they had Alexander Troncon and Diego Dominguez were the halfbacks, and they had a very good side in those days. It's taken a wee while to get back to anything resembling that, but there's still time, Michael. We've got to remember that. 9 minutes remaining, 7 points between them.
Yeah, seems obvious, but how crucial the next score for both sides. Italy come away with 3 points or a try. They're completely back in it for a grandstand finish.
Italy may well go for another scrum penalty. The ball goes in a little bit better by Ireland, and the scrum goes up, but Italy pick up and they drive off the back of the scrum. Odiasi sets it up. Here come the Italians, and they've got plenty of men out here. Linus come round, and good tackle by Stuart McCluskey, who's had a very good game. The other Garbisi gets it away, taken on by Odiasi, who sets it up and was just inside his own 10-metre line, middle of the field. Ireland have just stopped Italy moving forward. The Italians may have to kick the ball. Paolo Garbisi, the brother, kicks right-footed for the far side of the field. Who's underneath it? James Lowe. Good jump and take by Lowe. Ireland bring the ball back inside. Oh, it's been nearly given away. How very careless of Ireland. Holly Davidson right on the spot. No knock forward. One Garbisi to the other, who just stands back and lets some of his forwards take it on. Ireland back inside their own 10-metre line. Now they drive forward yet again. This is good stuff. Good tackling by Nick Timoney back on the Italian side. Garbisi to Zuliani. Italy driving forward, getting across the Ireland 22, 10 metres in from the far touchline. There's a half a chance here if they can get the ball away, and that's nicely done to Odogwu. Sets it up well. Now Italy trying to look for the try that would bring them back with a conversion to come back into this game with a few minutes remaining. Referee thinking about the penalty but doesn't give the penalty. Garbisi to Garbisi, and here they go again. There's a bit of a gap there. Ireland have to be on the money with their tackling. Menoncello very nearly get up to the 22, taken away by Garbisi. Good defending by Ireland in the middle of the park. Italy have squeezed the ball back. Garbisi to Paolo Garbisi, wide past the line, and what can he do now? He comes stepping back infield, and he's managed to get the ball away, and Italy have cleverly got across the Irish 22 on the far side of the field, 5 or 6 metres inside it. Liner goes to scrum half. Garbisi sets it up to Odogwu. Good tackling by Ireland, but Italy are right up into the 22. Scruffy bit of an old pass, but they managed to get the ball away. Cries of forward pass, but ignored by referee Holly Davidson, who's had a great game today. Good stuff by Odiasi, the enormous replacement forward. Italy moved the ball to the right hand side. Little pop pass to Loretto. Odogwu once again tries to get and scramble his way over the 22. Ireland's defence is pretty good. 6.5 minutes remaining. Still time for Italy. Is there time for Ireland to counter? But in the meantime, all they care about is defending. And the ball comes back to Paolo Garbisi. He kicks left-footed. That's going to be chased. Menoncello's underneath it. Knocked back on the Irish side. Was it forward? No. Away by Ireland. And they've got to get the ball away. And they do get it all the way. And Jamison Gibson Park gives it one almighty wallop with the right foot. And Ireland have got out of jails, and that was great work by Rob Balakoon.
Great work by Rob Balakoon. Great defence by Ireland, because Italy were looking really threatening there. But what about that man Menoncello, Tommaso Menoncello? He always seems to get through a defence. There's a brick wall there. Somehow he makes a half break again. He's got great footwork, great power, strength, and Italy, like we saw pictures in the first half, looking really threatening. running hard, running direct, good offloading game, playing with confidence, but Ireland hold out.
Di Bartolomeo inside Ireland's 10-metre line, and it goes, well taken by Italy. Down by Alessandro Garbisi. Good defence in the middle of the park by Ireland. They've got to get men round the right side. Good switch of play. Paolo Garbisi. Here comes the fullback, taken off at the ankles by Ireland and by Gary Ringrose. Referee's got the hand out for a penalty against Ireland. This could mean a kick into the corner. Italy knocked the ball forward, and the referee says somebody went into the ruck and put their hands on the ground in the ruck, which you're not allowed to do.
Yeah, I think it's James Ryan. He sees the ball sitting there, he goes in for it, but his hands touch the floor first before he goes for the ball. Caelan Doris kind of has a little chat with Holly Davison to appeal it, but yeah, she's been brilliant, hasn't she? The game's really flowed. It's been an exciting game, a lot of ball in play.
Paolo Garbisi kicks with that fabled left foot of his into touch, and he's come inside Ireland's 22 on the far side of the field, only by about 4 or 5 metres, but it is going to be an Italian line out into the final 5 minutes of this game. Ireland leading by 20 points to 13, having been 10-5 down at the interval. Gibson Park is in there. McCluskey standing in the middle of the field. What a game he's had for Ireland, waving his hands about. Replacement hooker Tommaso Di Bartolomeo about to throw in for the Italian side. There's some water coming on. No, there's not, says the referee. Clear off, water carriers. Nobody's getting any, if I'm not getting any. And yes, they are coming on. Crowd getting a little bit impatient, so they're going to give out some water. That's very unusual at this time of year. Water in February.
They're getting a bit thirsty.
I'm not surprised. It's been played at a heck of a pace. You know, even if Ireland win this, you've got to say, Michael, how good have Italy been today?
They've been really good. They just look like a completely different team to what we've ever seen an Italian side look like in the Six Nations. Look, going back to last week with that great win against Scotland, it was played in biblical conditions, really wet, and today it's dry. The ball's not wet, but their skill set, their handling, their confidence, all playing with a game plan they understand and they know, and they're executing well. They look really good, they look really strong, and it's great signs for Italian rugby going forwards. But a lot to play here for 3 or 4 minutes left.
Gary Ringrose getting a lot of heavy strapping around his left leg. Here we go again now. Italian line out on the Irish 22, far side of the field. The Italian right, well won by Italy. Zuliani backs the scrum half, gets her a little chip into space. Somebody needs to grab it. Oh, it's gone loose, and away comes James Lowe. Play on, says the referee. Osborne knocked down, and the referee is going to bring them back. It was knocked forward initially by Italy, and Ireland will get the put into the scrum. Maybe not exactly what they want. That was very nearly a match sharing, if not a match winning try. The bounce was very, very awkward, and Menoncello was right through in the middle. He just knocked the ball forward with his right hand as James Lowe came back, and Gary Ringrose was back, and Gonzalo Quesada up off his feet thinking, oh goodness me, or words to that effect. That should have been the match sharing try.
But to play with that confidence, you're 7 points down, 3 minutes left, and that is incredible play from Italy. Garbisi just chips it over the top and almost goes into Menoncello's hand, and he almost goes under the post, but it just doesn't quite sit right, doesn't bounce into his hands. James Lowe gets on it and relieves the pressure.
Most important scrum of this match, and indeed Ireland's season so far. 5 metres from their own line, directly underneath their own post, and it goes. That's a bit better by Ireland. Gibson Park moves it to the far side. Jamie Osborne wallops it left-footed. Cries of "come on, Jamie" from Irish supporters not too far away from me, and that's a very good clearance kick. Italy will get the put into the scrum, but they've gone from within 5 metres of the Irish line to the Irish 22, away over on the east stand side, the Italian right. They're playing towards the Havelock Square end. Look at the clock, 2.5 minutes to go. 20 points to 13 in favour of a somewhat an off-times beleaguered Ireland side.
Yeah, and Jim, I just think for the listeners, they won't realise how close that was to being an Italian try there. That almost sat into Menoncello's hand under the posts.
Ball back in the Italian side. Here they come again. Zuliani, who's been outstanding, takes it up to the Ireland 22. Spilled forward by the Italians. Referee waiting for advantage to be played. The ball goes all the way back and gathered in by Jamie Osborne. Well, was there not advantage to Ireland there? She hasn't. She's been playing advantage to Ireland, who've gone all the way back to their own, within 5 metres of their own goal line. Jamison Park pops it forward, sets it up to Thomas Hoole, replacement loose head prop for Ireland. First time he's done that in a Six Nations game. Back on the Ireland side, Edwin Dogbo leaves it for Jamison Gibson Park, who'll kick right-footed, and he needs to find his touch, and he hasn't found his touch. Gathered in, brought in field by Italy. Here comes Giovanni, who's very aggressive, but he's well taken down by Ireland. The enormous Odiazi sets it up for Italy. This game is by no means done and dusted yet. Zuliani gets her way. Italy looking for one little half break that could lead to the all-important try. Ireland defending like their very Six Nations lives depend on it, and they might do as well. Stuart McCluskey was in there with the tackle. Italy win the ball. Cries of Ireland, Ireland. Here come Italy again. Linus on the outside. Good work by fullback Pani, not for the first time. Ball back on the Italian side. Zuliani's in the middle of all of that, and they drive forward, taking 2 or 3 Irish players out of it. Dogwu gets himself offside, and well, the referee told him to keep his hands out of it, and he didn't keep his hands out of it. Penalty to Italy. They've got that luxury, and they're still going forward through Louis Lina, who thought he'd scored a try in the first half, or the second half I should say, but didn't, and they've come back for the scrum. Now Italy to go for the corner. What do you think? They have to, don't they?
They have to go for the corner. That's a really poor penalty from Dogbu.
What was he doing? He must know the laws of the game. He was leaning over and he put his paws on the ground. If he grabbed the ball, he was going to be fine perhaps, but the paws went under the ground and he gave away the penalty. Yeah. And it's now Paolo Garbisi, who's playing half-back with his brother Alessandro. And has he got it into touch? Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
Yeah, the other thing about that penalty as well, Dogbu, he's not supporting his own body weight. Holly Davidson actually tells him not to put his hands on it. He's not even trying to pull the ball up. He's just got his hands on top of the ball. So, silly penalty. Italy nearly missed touch here. Balogun keeps it in field, but it comes off, ricochets off his leg and into touch.
5 metre line out for Italy. Well thrown in. Now they've got the ball. Can they drive for the Irish line? No, they're going to break away. But Dogbu comes in off his wing. Hard and strong and ferociously competitive. Sets the ball up. Alessandro Garbisi moves it away. Here come the Italians again. We have played now 80 minutes. One more knock forward and the game's over. And Ireland will have stolen a game that they maybe didn't look like winning. But here come Italy. They're still not finished. They're only 10 metres less than from the Irish line. Just the other side of the Irish post. Italy move it wide. Nicely done. Here they go again. There's a great chance for Italy. Wonderful tackle there by Ireland. Ball back on the Italian side. Alessandro pops it up to the loose head prop. Both Italian replacement props, 17 or 18 again. Alessandro Garbisi. Holly Davidson says to Ireland, get back. And Italy still driving forward, looking for the try. The best they can hope for is a try and a conversion to draw the game. Now they get it away, and the ball has gone loose. And if Ireland pinch the ball is on the ground, knocked forward by Ireland, says Holly Davidson. So it's going to be a scrum to Italy. If play continues, Italy still determined to go for the try. Replacement, Rutsa takes it forward. Now Italy move it wide, and good tackling by Ireland yet again. In go Italy. Alessandro Garbisi pops it up to replacement loose head prop. Zuliani is in there as well. Still coming back on the Italian side, and Ireland defending desperately. Second minute of extra red light time. Good defending by Ireland in the middle of the park. Holly Davidson has played such a lot of advantage. She surely won't go back now. Here comes Giovanni and runs wide. Interception by Ireland, and the advantage is over. And away goes James Lowe. Lina has the legs of him though. Lowe's still going. He's holding off Lina. Lowe's up to the 22. If Ireland can get this ball away, surely there's a chance of the try. Neither do move it. Nicely moved wide. Here they come again. This is good stuff by Ireland. Set up nicely by Ireland. Kelleher is in there as well. Referee gives a penalty against Italy, and all Ireland have to do is to get it into touch, and the game is over. Well, that very nearly was the most sensational of tries. James Lowe, a couple of years ago, might have had the legs there, but it certainly didn't have the legs there of Michael Lina. But it's all worked out okay for Ireland, and it looks as if they might just be going to win this game. Michael McCarthy.
Oh my word, Jim. The blood pressure.
How's your heart?
Skyrocketing. That is That has been a stressful last few minutes. Italy attacking with such intent and knocking at the door. James Lowe does really well to jump up really high, get the intercept, almost has the legs, but what about the pace from Odogwu? The Italian substitution, he chases James Lowe down and tackles him and stops an almost certain try, and we can breathe again. What a relief. Ireland now inside the Italian 22, looking to close this game out.
Yes, a wonderful piece of covering by Nick Timoney, who laid the ball behind, and the Italians, in this case Menoncello, gave the penalty away into the corner, and they will take the line out. This will be the last act of this game, which is one that Ireland will be glad to see the end of. I have to say, it looked very much as if Ireland were going to blow this one. It's still not over yet, or is it over yet? No, it's not. They've got to go for the line out. Oh no, they don't have to go for the line. It's been kicked into touch and it's all over. Well, silly me, a little bit of confusion there. I thought Ireland were going to go for the line out, but they did tap the ball and then they kicked it into touch. On the ball, that's it, and that's game, and not quite set and match, but certainly game for Ireland. And how relieved will Andy Farrell be with that performance?
Yeah, I think massive sigh of relief. And look, first of all, Italy, they've turned up off the back of that win against Scotland, and they came here with full belief they could get a result here, which they've never done before. And they turned up, they were physical, they played with intent, they played with great heart and belief, and Ireland just get over the line. But it's been a stressful watch. It's been a really good game to watch. It's been end to end. Holly Davidson's refed it really well. It's been open, it's been flowing, and a similar story to last week really, in terms of big impact off the bench. The second half, Ireland looked a lot stronger. Worrying signs, you have to say, at scrum time for Ireland. Really worrying signs going forward further into this competition. Italy completely dominating at scrum time, but Ireland this second half, playing with a lot more physicality, building that multi-phase we're used to seeing over the previous years, and Ireland looked a lot stronger, a lot better, and Balakoon played really well. McCloskey really showed up, played well, some great handling, getting his hands free in the tackle, offloading game, getting that going, and I think the whole of the Aviva just breathes a massive sigh of relief, but really enjoyable game.
Rob Balakoon named as player of the match. It's not the sort of performance that will give England and their head coach too many sleepless nights between now and next weekend, is it?
No, certainly not, but first and foremost, after the disappointment of last week, we had to see Ireland get over the line with a win. We'll look closely now to the Calcutta Cup to see if Scotland can do what they've done so often recently and get a win up at Murrayfield. They need to bounce back from that disappointing loss to Italy last week, but plenty to work on. The big concern going into the England game for Ireland is that scrum. Really worrying signs, worrying pictures of them getting shoved back at a rate of knots. That arrowhead of pressure and power coming through from the Italian back five. England will be licking their lips at that in terms of next week.
Michael, my thanks. What a wonderful game that was, and what a privilege it was to have Mike McCarthy beside me. It was a great start by Ireland. Jamie Osborne with an early try went unconverted. Penalty from outside half Garbesi to pull it back to 5-3, and then the Italians turned round 10-5 up with a try by Hooker Nicotera, converted by Garbesi for 10-5. Back came Ireland. Jack Conan, an unconverted try. A penalty then to Italy was missed, and a try by Italy.